By the way, I've been told. There we go. All right, perfect. I have been told that there are some folks that thought we were done. Thought we were done with it. We're not. Yankees, Red Sox postponed last night. Team USA v. Australia might postpone for this evening. Bradley Beal off the team. He's got the COVID. Who's going to replace him? No idea. Fair dinkum.
You want to commit to it, but you're uncertain, and if you just put a little more into it, you're right there, man. You really are. There you go.
No U.S. men's basketball game tonight, but there was a U.S. men's soccer match. You know what? At ESPN, what is that guy saying in your intro? I listen all the time, and I can never figure it out. He is saying, lockdown! Lockdown.
Apparently, it's hard to believe, but there are some people who listen to the show who are not wrestling fans.
Shocking.
I know.
That voice is that of the Usos, Jimmy and Jay Uso from the WWE, both along with their cousin Roman Reigns. They are real-life cousins. All from my hometown of Pensacola, Florida. Pensacola in the house, as the great Roy Jones Jr. once used to say. So when we started putting together ideas for the show, Mark Ryan has told his story about how the show got its name and how the boss wanted to, as a response to the old Nolan Ryan experience, the Nolan Ryan train, they wanted to call it the Ryan Express. He talked them into going with Offsides. When I was awarded the job.
Wait. When you say Ryan Express, this makes me laugh every single time.
Ride the Ryan Express. That was one of the greatest promos for that show of all time, by the way.
It was. It
one of the greatest promos
it can never be duplicated.
No. The Ryan Express. So when they offered me the job, they said, what do you want to call the show? And I was open to calling it anything, but over the years, I had acquired a lot of artwork and graphics and yada, yada, yada that all said The Rob Brown Show. My Twitter handle was already The Rob Brown Show. My Facebook page was already The Rob Brown Show. I had the flags made. I had the banners made. I had the digital art. And they said, you can call it whatever you want. We kind of like the idea of having having a term, a word, a sports term with Rob Brown. But long story short, I had dumped a ton of money over the years into promotions for the Rob Brown Show. I had to go through a fight in order to get the Rob Brown Show as my official Twitter handle and all that. And so for me, it just became easier to stick with the Rob Brown Show. Texter now says, Pensacola, that explains the DWIs. Where you got to make it personal. You got to make it personal. Okay.
Now, that person is a wrestling fan.
Correct. Coming after me. I can hear the lockdown part, but it is the other part. I represent something.
What's real?
Yeah. We represent what's real. Yeah. And then the other guy just says, yeah. But like, yeah. Yeah, we represent being real.
When you say yeah, you got to do that. You got to nod into it.
Which is hilarious because our theme song makes it sound like we're a couple of hard asses. And then we're like, hey, what'd you think about all the new Marvel movies and this awesome Lego thing that's coming out?
Well, nerds can get angry too. We can get riled. You don't want us riled.
Seriously, watch us bowl one time.
Yeah, I think they've heard me riled before. So
I had the Lonzo Halo once I couldn't get my score up over 115.
Yeah, no one wants any of that rubbing off on them.
Lane with me. All right, let's jump right into it because I got like 4 things on the lunch breakdown today.
Let's do lunch.
This is a very nutritious lunch. All the food groups are represented.
You guys are here.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here? Lunch!
It is the lunch breakdown of 3 things you have to know before you go start talking sports with your friends, family, coworker, or the dog, whoever you spend your lunch break with. Today, however, it is 4. It is 4 things you have to know before you go start talking sports with your friends, family, coworker, or the dog, whoever you spend your lunch break with. We begin with item number 1, Carolina Panther news breaking yesterday. Why, sincere question, Lonzo, why does all the sports news break at like 3:03 p.m. every afternoon? Every day we walk out of here at 3:01 p.m. and at 3:03 my phone, ding, 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 ding. Here's all these giant sports news that you didn't get to break on the air, Rob.
Well, in the future, this is something that we can do. When that happens, we'll just jump on Facebook Live and break it.
Really should.
We can do that.
Or we just walk in here, commandeer the show for men. Listen, Mark, we know you need to tell everybody you're broadcasting naked, but we got sports news here.
Just to say, hey, Diesel, move over for a second.
Yeah, they go well. Carolina Panthers and offensive tackle Taylor Moton have agreed to a mammoth 4-year, $72 million extension, includes $43 million guaranteed at signing, according to Shefty. Adam Schefter reported that yesterday afternoon, literally as we went off the air. The blockbuster deal announced by the team only as a multi-year extension beat the Thursday 4 p.m. deadline for franchise players to sign extensions. Moton became the 4th of 10 players to receive the franchise tag this year to reach a long-term contract, joining Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, New York Giants defensive lineman Leonard Williams, and Denver Broncos safety Justin Simmons. The others: Tampa Bay wide receiver Chris Godwin, Chicago Bears wide receiver Allen Robinson, New Orleans Saints safety Marcus Williams, New York Jets Marcus May, Jacksonville Jaguars offensive tackle Cam Robinson, and Brandon Scherf of the Washington football team will play the 2021 season on their franchise tag. The 26-year-old became the starting right tackle in 2018 and has started every game for the Panthers since that point over the past 3 seasons. His new deal sets him at an average of $18 million per season, ties him with Philadelphia's Lane Johnson for 2nd amongst NFL right tackles and 6th overall for all offensive tackles. Matt Rule said, quote, "He's an excellent player. He's an excellent professional. He's an even better person. When we talk about the brand, he's all of that," end quote. Moton takes some snaps at left tackle during offseason workouts, mostly due to injuries that limited Cameron Irving and Trent Scott. Irving signed to a 2-year, $10 million deal in free agency. He is now the front runner for the left tackle job, which would allow Moton to go back to his natural spot on the right side. The 6'5", 325-pounder was selected in the 2nd round out of the 2017 draft from Western Michigan. So that's where we go. Texter says, "Thanks for clarifying. I've been trying to figure that out for like a year, man. LOL. I'm glad we can help. That's what we're here for. We are here to make your life better." Item number 2 on the lunch breakdown. Last night, the U.S. soccer effectively B-side, although some of them made a damn good argument to be on the A-team, whooped Martinique 6-1. Daryl DK, the young man from Orlando City FC, my home state squad, scored a brace. That's 2 goals for those of you still unindoctrinated into the soccer lingo. I will get you there. 2 goals, a brace, 3 a hat trick.
All right. So Martinique, are they a powerhouse?
No, they're not very good at all.
Okay, because I only know of them from the Beach Boys song, Kokomo. So, you know.
Do they mention Martinique in that song?
Yes.
Do they?
Yes. Now it's going to be going through his head trying to figure it out.
I can't do the whole song off the top of my head right now.
Martinique. And then they say something afterwards. I will look up the lyrics and I will.
To the Florida Keys. There's a place.
You're so easily distracted.
I really am. Daryl DK got a brace, help cause an own goal that I think should have been awarded to him. That header was likely going in before the Martinique defender tried to scorpion kick it, I guess, over the top of the goal. It did. It ended up going in. I'm giving DK all 3 because, well, I like him and I want him on the A-team. End of discussion. Miles Robinson, Giassi Zardes, and Nicholas Giacchini all scored the other goals to pace the U.S. Martinique got their lone tally of the match on a 64th minute penalty kick that was won by Kevin Fortune and converted by Emmanuel Riviere. The U.S. remain in 2nd in Group B. They had an opportunity last night. They drew even on goal differential with Canada, right? So basically 2 teams will come out of Group A. As of now, it is officially the U.S. and Canada, but the U.S. and the Canucks will play on Sunday. The United States must win outright in order to make it to the next round as the group stage winner. If they beat Canada, they win the group. However, a draw will go the direction of the Canadians. Both would get a point. Both would be at 7 points at that point, and it would go to tiebreakers. Now, the Canadians going into that game, had the Americans not surrendered the PK and scored 6, they actually would have led on goal differential. But right now, the Americans and the Canucks are tied in goal differential. So it would go to the second tiebreaker as to who wins Group A. The second tiebreaker is number of goals scored. And right now, the Canadians lead the goals scored tiebreakers. So the Americans must defeat Canada straight up in the final round or final game of round play coming up on Sunday. We'll break that game down later on, but all you need to know is this. Martinique is not a great team, which is why you expect to dump 6 on them, all right? We have had plenty of games where we've played a team to the caliber of Martinique and won 1-0. We beat Haiti 1-0. Haiti's not a powerhouse. I mean, they're actually a pretty good squad, but they're not a powerhouse. You expect better. So to be able to go from a 1-0 defeat of Haiti to turn around and dump 6, and frankly should have been a clean sheet victory, but to go up 6-1 and win that game, and not just do that, but to make up the entire Canadian goal differential is pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. So very happy. We'll break that down further later on in the show. Item number 3, and I will tell you I'm likely going to move number 4 to the next segment because I do think it is potentially a transformative moment in college sports, which I'll bring up. But item number 3 on the lunch breakdown, COVID not done with sports just yet. Team USA fighting a challenging scenario on the hardwood as they prepare for the Tokyo Olympics. The Americans have lost Bradley Beal and last night's men's basketball game against Australia, a very important one. Arguably the best competition that the Americans have in the States to prepare for the Olympics, to build that chemistry before the Olympics. That game that was scheduled to be played this evening is now off because of, obviously, the protocols in place. Bradley Beal has been sent down, absolutely crushing. Bradley Beal literally days ago did an entire interview where all he talked about was the fact that playing for the Olympic team had been a dream of his since he was a child. He will be denied that dream for at least 3 more years, courtesy of COVID. Bam Adebayo said Thursday that Beal was not experiencing any symptoms. He said, quote, Greg Popovich said, quote, "I'm dying for him. We all are. Since he was a little kid, this has been a dream of his, and he was playing great. For him and his immediate family, it's devastating. We just feel horrible about it." There are limits to what the team has been able to do, but they have been free to move around hotels and casinos with family and friends not permitted in Tokyo. U.S. basketball invited them to Vegas to watch them play, although they had to go through protocols to do it. However, you can't stop it all. You got to try, but you can. Draymond Green said, quote, "It's costing people opportunities of a lifetime. It sucks. We all came in hoping we wouldn't be affected by it. It's just not the way it's gone." End quote. USA basketball officials met yesterday evening, reached out to potential replacements for Beal. It is possible that a player from the 57-man roster announced earlier this year could be selected. And also, we have found out that this is not COVID related after all the I don't know, controversy, but contrived controversy, I guess. Kevin Love has announced that he is withdrawing from the Olympics as well, says that he has a calf injury. So now the U.S. basketball team will have to replace 2 players on the roster. Love's agent Jeff Schwartz confirmed the Cleveland Cavaliers forward withdrawal earlier this morning. It comes less than a day after the Americans announced that Bradley Beal will miss the Olympics as well. So we will see who gets picked up in a fun little bit of controversy. Trae Young, the young star for your Atlanta Hawks, tweeted out a clip from the final Last Dance, from the Last Dance documentary. He tweeted out the clip. Remember, there was that clip of Isaiah Thomas, and they were talking about Isaiah Thomas. Why wasn't he on the 96 team? And he said, "I don't know. I met all of the qualifications. I should have been there, but I wasn't selected. Trae Young actually tweeted out that clip with a frowny face emoji and an American flag emoji attached to it, believing that he should have been one of the guys. Then 56 minutes ago, Lonzo, just after Kevin Love announced that he was out for the Olympics as well, Trae Young tweeted, "Another day, another opportunity, #100 emoji." So could Trae Young be a potential replacement? Is that where it's going to come from?
I think that's a smart move, don't you?
Oh, I'd be pushing hard. Be pushing hard, man. Be pushing hard. Who knows? Who knows? You've got the U.S. select team. So the U.S. select team is basically the Olympic B team. It's all the guys that were right on the verge, and they've been in Vegas basically acting as the practice squad for Team USA basketball. My bet is Pops is going to pull somebody off of that squad, if I had to guess. I don't know. I don't know who it might be. I'm intrigued to see. Here's what I don't want. Here's the select team. Sadiq Bey from Detroit, Miles Bridges from Charlotte, Anthony Edwards from Minnesota, Darius Garland from Cleveland, Tyrese Halliburton from Sacramento, Tyler Hero from Miami, John Jenkins from Italy, Keldon Johnson from the Spurs, Josh Magette plays in Turkey, Dakota Mathias from Philly, Emmanuel Quickley from the Knicks, Naz Reid from Minnesota, Cam Reynolds from Houston, Isaiah Stewart from Detroit, Obi Toppin from the Knicks, PJ Washington from Charlotte, and Patrick Williams. That team is coached by Eric Spoelstra of the Miami Heat, and his assistant, Gonzaga University head coach Mark Few, is the assistant there as well. My bet is they pull somebody from there. The one thing I don't want, Zoe, I do not need another ISO guard or forward. I don't need another ISO player. You got a roster full of ISO guys. Greg Popovich said that they were looking for a, quote, utility infielder to fill that role. Yes.
Out of all the guys you mentioned, there's only one that would be considered slightly a star, and that would be Tyler Hero.
Tyler Hero, yes, I agree. Obi Toppin, I think, is a future superstar. I think he could be there. Who else on that list would I say is a future star? Anthony Edwards is a future superstar out of Minnesota, who was right on the verge this year. Who am I missing? I closed my list, so I'm trying to remember who else was on there that I was there. Miles Bridges from Charlotte's a good little player too. But a lot of these guys are ISO guys. I don't need an ISO guy. Give me that utility infielder. You ready for who I'm pushing for? I'm going to blow your mind with who I want on the team, Lonzo. You're not ready for this. You ready for the guy I want on the team? Zion Williamson. Give me Zion. Why would you not take Big Z? You got 2 slots. Give me a 4-5 guy who works hard in the paint. Take Big Z to Tokyo, baby. Hey. Let's take a break. When we come back, what will be item number 4 effectively, but I'm saving it for its own segment because this may be a transformative moment in college sports. What Mark Emmert said yesterday may, and I swear to you, I'm not exaggerating like a radio dude does for a tease. I mean this. This may be the most transformative thing that the NCAA ever does. What am I talking about? Tell you when we come back on the Rob Brown Show. It's ESPN Upstate. That is a tease.
back and they don't have anyone to run it.
To board up it?
Yeah, it's on Saturday morning. I'll figure something out, or I'll just be doing it again like I did quite a bit.
So Thackus asked if that's me playing the guitars. No, it's not. I am not that good. I play 4-hour gigs to Thackus. I have 2 solos, and one of them is basically walking back and forth and then one big bend, and I only did that one time. And then I was like, no, that's my solo. So I make this big thing of like walking up to the front of the stage, shaking my hand off, like really getting like I'm about to cut him in. I stand up where the lead singer is, put the foot up on the monitor, get like I'm going to rip, and then just go, wah, 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 and then back up. That's my whole solo.
Still kind of awesome, though.
That makes me laugh every time because I am simple-minded and find myself hilarious. Mark, twice in a segment, I forget to turn my mic on.
Well, they didn't hear the other one, but this one, it was a little obvious.
Martinique, that Montserrat Mystique. That's the lyric from Kokomo. That's the lyric. That's where Martinique is in that song.
Somewhere John Stamos is smiling.
We'll perfect our chemistry. John Stamos, the backup drummer for the Beach Boys. That's a true story.
He was in that video.
Yes,
by
he
the way.
was. Yes, he was. I saw the Beach Boys on the beach in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. God, it had to be 20 years ago now. 20 years ago or so. And I cannot tell you how many people were disappointed, Lonzo, because they were waiting. They thought John Stamos was going to be there. So Uncle Jesse was not there. Uncle Jesse had better things to do. They were very disappointed. All right. So Mark Emmert, president of the NCAA, said yesterday that the time is right to consider a decentralized and deregulated version of college sports, shifting power back to the conferences and Camp I and reconsidering how schools are aligned. Emmert said the recent Supreme Court ruling against the NCAA, along with the lifting of restrictions on athletes monetizing their fame, should be a catalyst to, quote, rethink, end quote, what college sports is all about. In a 30-minute interview with a small group of reporters, Emmert stressed he was not putting forth a mandate or even a recommendation, but he laid out a vision for the future of college sports that puts fewer limitations on athletes and de-emphasizes the role of a national governing body like the NCAA, which was founded 115 years ago and oversees more than 450,000 students who play sports. Emmert said, quote, when you have an environment like that, it just forces us to think more about what constraints should be put in place ever on college athletes, and it should be the bare minimum. Cool? Like, what?
Yeah. What universe NCAA has been all powerful. Everyone has said, these teams are going to break away from the NCAA. It needs to go. And then this is said. This is weird.
Yes, it is. It's so here's what I want. Here's the reaction.
It's all your NIL. It's all their fault.
This feels to me. You ever seen a parent and one parent's like, hey, I think we should give little Billy an extension on his curfew. Maybe instead of coming in at 8 p.m., we let him stay out till 10 with his friends. And the other parent's like, fine, why don't we just give him the keys to the house? Why don't we just give him our whole bank account? Why don't we just Calm down, Mark. Calm down. Look, I'll bust up on the NCAA as much as anybody else. And I'm here for it. Texas says the NCAA is the most corrupt organization in sports. Get rid of them. I would like to introduce you to FIFA, but I get where you're going with that.
Unless he realizes, like I do, the mess this is going to be with the name, image, and likeness, and this is him getting ahead of it to say it's not our fault. The Supreme Court did this.
So you put me in this weird spot, Zoe, because on one hand, Emmert's wrong, but on the other hand, he's not wrong, I don't think, for the reason that you're saying he's wrong. Mark Emmert is upset that the NCAA has had anything taken away from its ability to govern. And so instead of going, all right, well, You took this little bit of power away from us, so now I'm just going to freak out and tell you, go ahead, take all of it. Go ahead, take all of it. Take all the power. No, Mark. Look. Texter says you're right. I completely forgot about FIFA. They take the cake for most corrupt, but NCAA close second. This is a hissy fit from Mark Emmert, is what it is. It's a hissy fit. And if your president is going to throw a hissy fit, I don't want him to be the president. And that's true of literally anything. A country, a charity, your book club. I don't care what it is. If the president throws a hissy fit when he loses an ounce of the pound of power that he has, I don't want him as the president of that. All right. Now, I'm going to go on the record and say, I think any entity with the size and scope of college football, it needs to have a centralized governing platform. All right. I don't care what it is, especially in the format of competition. I know a lot of people, myself included, like the idea of a minimized central federal government, but I think the country needs one. I know a lot of people don't love the idea of a centralized overlying power over college football, but I think you have to have one. Look at what happened. Look at what happened when the NIL law started coming out, right? We had some states that said, this is cool. We're going to let this happen, and we're really not going to put any regulations on it at all. And then over here, you had some that said, hey, we're not going to let this happen. And immediately the next day, we all came in here and said, if your state does not allow NIL laws, your state's about to get hosed in college football. You're about to get smoked in college football. You won't be able to keep up. The benefits are too good. Now, a lot of people are going to look and go, wait, Rob, doesn't that prove the point? The NCAA was basically cut out of the equation and college football corrected itself. The answer is, yeah, that's what happened. But as me and Diesel both said, because Diesel and I are on the same side of this talk, as Diesel and I both said, the problem is that the NCAA had the option on the table years ago to be out ahead of this, to be taking corrective action years ago, and they didn't do it because they are not an effective governing power that had the best interest of the people that they had oversight on at heart. So they didn't do anything. They were inefficient. They made mistakes, and they created this. Well, now we have this explosion of NIL laws, and everybody's spinning around in their chairs going, we don't know what to do. We don't know what to do.
Or they were smart enough to know that there is no regulating this. There is no fixing this. Once that door is open, and now it is going to be a complete mess. And maybe they knew back then that there's no way to have control of this. This is the wild, wild west. This is what you wanted, and things are going to go downhill from this point forward. And if the NCAA dissolves itself, which it might do, it's going to get even worse.
Give me any other thing in college sports that the NCAA has ever said, we don't think we can control this. The NCAA controls what uniform socks teams can wear.
I think that's the point. They understand that there is no controlling this. There is no keeping this in check. There is no fixing this. Once this door is open and it's open and you're happy the door is open, things are going to get really, really bad.
I disagree. The NCAA has not been afraid to try to take control of any situation. They are, in fact, to the point that most of the time even I, am complaining about them being overbearing. So here's the situation, because here's the thing. If you have something that is as monumental as these NIL laws are, the way that you handle it is as soon as it becomes something you know is going to be an issue, you start working on it. The NCAA never even put together a group to start working on.
What should they have done? What should they have done to get out in front of this?
Years ago, start putting together a group that starts working towards allowing NIL laws, but have those regulations being tested out as we went. And they didn't. They waited till the 11th hour of the 11th day.
I still believe, as we discussed before, they didn't believe the Supreme Court would do this. And so they didn't think they had to worry about it. And I am shocked that the Supreme Court did do this because of the mess it's going to be. But, what's going to happen is the NCAA, and I know I'm just being big time negative, but it's, I'm going worst case scenario here. The NCAA dissolves itself. It becomes, the corruption is so noticeable that the government decides to step in. And instead of the NCAA, we have the government over college football, which they would love to be over college football.
The government stepped in because the NCAA didn't. The NCAA has control over what sponsorships are allowed and not allowed. They have sponsorships of, they have control over what scholarships are allowed to be signed and are not. The government has, let me rephrase it. I don't want to say never because I don't know that for a fact, but as far as I am aware, never stepped into a position where the NCAA should have control. They could have it. This is not, the NIL laws weren't like, it wasn't like we woke up one day and we're just all absolutely taken aback because we've never even heard of this in the Supreme Court rule. No. We've been talking about this for years. I've been on plenty of shows talking about the fact that players should be allowed to utilize their own name, image, and likeness to get paid. Not extra scholarships, not being paid to play on the field, but take advantage of what they have built by hard work and athletic excellence. This is not a new conversation. And for years, the NCAA knew this was an ongoing conversation, had an opportunity to step in front of it and go, okay, we know that you guys want this to happen. We think that down the road it will be an issue, which, again, have been saying for years it would be. And so, therefore, here's our first proposal of how to allow this. Unless their whole thing was, we are never going to allow this. As long as you live under my roof, you play under my rules, young man.
Which I believe was their stance, that they were never going to allow it. And if you're never going to allow something and then suddenly it happens, then once the shock wears off, you realize, hey, I am not going to be able to fix this. So I'm going to get out in front of it and try to make sure that we don't get the blame for it.
If that is the case, then they did a bad job, right? You know what it feels like to me? Here, I'm gonna upset some people, but YOLO. I'm sorry I said that.
Did you really?
I'm sorry I said that. I immediately regret that.
I've heard you don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. But hey, hashtag YOLO. This to me feels like the marijuana reform laws that we're seeing around the country, right? At this point, we've been having the discussion about the legalization of pot for decades. And the feds have over and over and over again refused to do anything about it until the last couple of years. And now you got states that are going, yeah, we don't care anymore. We don't care if the folks in our districts and our states smoke pot. But what are the states doing while they hand this down? We're going to decriminalize it. But here are the regulations. You're going to pay these taxes. You can't drive while you're doing it. You can't operate heavy machinery while you're doing it. You can't sell it to kids. You can't do this. You can't do that. What the states did was say, we're going to legalize it, but here are the regulations for that legalization. You still can't do this, this, and this. And what has happened amongst the tree enthusiasts in those states? They went, we accept this. We accept this. Some people are going to break the rules. We know that, and we're fine with those people being punished, but we accept it. And so it's happening in a slow but transitioning process. That's exactly the same thing that's happening here, except for, in this case, now the people in Mississippi, well, that's not fair. They actually jumped out ahead of the NIL laws. The people in South Dakota who did not have, no, actually they did too. Oh my gosh, pick me a state that didn't get involved. Vermont.
Wait, do they have sports teams in Vermont?
I don't know. I'm just using him as an example. Let's pretend that Vermont University is a consistent NCAA college football playoff contender. The people in
Not
Vermont,
even I can go that far.
I can't, no love for Vermont from Lonzo. Because of the way that for instance, the issue of marijuana has come out, the states have been handling it, blah, 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 but it's still not equal, right? There are many states that it is just still completely illegal to maintain or use. Now, if that was an important enough factor and where people elected to live, that people were flooding out of some states that don't allow it to states that do and bringing their money with them, there'd be a huge disadvantage, right? With college football, the NIL laws are just that. There will be college recruits that will not go play in certain states because they can't make endorsement money or couldn't till the NCAA got desperate. That's what happened. And it was a failure. And now Mark Emmert's throwing a hissy fit. We'll talk more about that when we come back on the Rob Brown Show. Rob Lonzo, it's ESPN Upstate. Do. Yeah, bingo. I agree. Well said, Joe. Spot on. Remember the mess with college basketball is going to be 10 times worse in a few years. I mean, what do you mean by worse, Tracy? I guess that'd be my question. What do you mean by worse? Keegan says, did I just see Ice-T and Stone Cold in a Tide commercial together on the TV back there? What a random pair. You did, Keegan. It is a series called Cold Calls, Stone Cold and Ice-T, where they call random people to sell them on Tide detergent. And it's surprisingly amusing, to tell you the truth. It's surprisingly funny for a detergent commercial.
Rates are still near all-time lows, which makes it easy and affordable to access cash from your home equity. It's true, you just got to call American Financing, America's home for home loans. To work with an expert mortgage consultant, someone who will guide you through custom options, helping you find the best rate for your new loan. No pressure, no obligation, no upfront or hidden fees. It only takes about 10 minutes to get started. And you can pre-qualify for free by calling 866-781-8900. That's 866-781-8900. Or visit AmericanFinancing.net.
NMLS 182334. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Your experience matters. At University of Phoenix, relevant life experience and eligible transfer credits can help you earn your degree faster and for less. In fact, undergrads who apply these credits, on average, save about 1 year and $11,000. Get the credit you deserve for time spent in the classroom, on the job, and in life. And see how much you can save at phoenix.edu. That's phoenix.edu.
What makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination? Because they offer free battery testing and charging and reliable replacement batteries starting at just $79.99. And they've always got your battery solution. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Text us anytime at 707.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is ESPN Upstate. on the Facebook chat, facebook.com/ESPN Upstate. Tracy says, remember the mess with college basketball. It's going to be 10 times worse in a few years. What do you mean by worse? How do you mean that? Because of the NIL laws, because of NCAA regulations going away, which is what I assume Mark Emmert is saying here. I don't know. Emmert went on to say, in a couple of quotes we didn't get to, he said, we need to be ready to say, for field hockey is different than football. Wrestling is different than lacrosse, and not get so hung up on having everything be the same, end quote. Right. Mark, we've been telling you that for years. The problem for me with the NCAA isn't the concept, Lonzo, of a centralized governing body that regulates sports, because I think you have to have it, right? The NFL doesn't work without the commissioner's office, even if we dislike it. The NBA doesn't work without Adam Silver's office, even if we don't like it. Because if you don't have a way to establish a fair baseline for every team to be competitive, then there isn't one. It's not that the NCAA exists or is centralized. That is the problem to me, Lonzo. The problem to me is they seem to approach every problem with a hammer. And not every problem is solved with a hammer. It's just very, they take so many one-size-fits-all situations or solutions to problems that they don't. If you just did a better job, then the concept would be fine. That's why this just feels like a hissy fit to me, Lonzo. Thoughts?
Well, first of all, the size of the hammer matters.
Sure.
Bigger hammer, I think you can get the job done, or you just break everything. I don't completely understand all the ins and the outs of everything. I can just look at the things that I feel like could go poorly, and I think they're looking at the same. And I think people should rejoice right now who want the NCAA to go away, because there's a good shot maybe they do go away. Then what happens? Then if it goes back to the individual schools, well, then it's no holds barred. You can, hey, come here. We're going to get you a sponsor. We're going to get you this. We're going to get you that. And what happens is the people complaining about this school it's always the same 3 or 4 schools. Well, those same 3 or 4 schools, they're going to get even more if there's no NCAA regulation and they're able to not have to adhere to any rules.
I agree. Mark Emmert, quote, you can lean back and do nothing and then just wait and see what happens. Or you can say, look, we're in it. This is the new era. We need to take advantage of it, pivot as much as we can towards the areas that I was just talking about, and embrace that change rather than fight it. Mark, had you taken that attitude over the past 15 years, instead of throwing this hissy fit, now that it's happened, you wouldn't be in it. You wouldn't be having to throw the hissy fit. That's literally the problem. For years, under your control, you have basically leaned back and done nothing about it, and then go, gasp, something has happened that we weren't ready for. Well, that's when you're not proactive, things get ahead of you. And once you get behind, it's very, especially with the amount of responsibility and scope that the NCAA has over the years acquired, when something gets ahead of you, it's hard to catch up, man. It's hard to catch back up. So, more than anything else, what would I like the NCAA to do in this position? Lonzo, Mark Emmert just said it. Instead of sitting back to see what happens next, get proactive.
And do what?
Change the mentality. Be working on solutions to problems before they're in your face exploding.
But like what? That's it's one thing to say, hey, fix it, but what's the solution? To you, it's not broken. This is what you wanted. You wanted name and image and likeness. To some other people like me, I'm worried about the corruption and all the things that go with it, and how sometimes order is needed. And in this case, there's not going to be any.
There already is. The NCAA literally put out a list of regulations about what's allowed and not. And you know what's funny about it? Not a single person in favor of NIL laws, myself included, not a single one of us have looked at the NCAA's regulations and gone, that's unfair. We don't like it. We all went, that's fine. That's
Yeah,
a fine
but
list.
it's making it sound like he doesn't believe it's going to work.
Then get out of the way. I don't know. I mean, if you're uncomfortable handling this, then get out of the way, and someone who's not will.
From the beginning, what I said, I mean, when we started talking about this, is that's what it sounds like he's getting ready to do, that to absolve blame from the NCAA, saying, hey, we're getting out in front of this and letting you know that this was not our fault. What happens is not on us.
It might be. Maybe he's getting ready to retire from this gig so that he can take all the heat pointed at the NCAA right now with him. Just blow it off at Mark Emmert and let the next guy come in clean slate. Maybe that's what it is. But as Joe on the Facebook stream said a second ago, if they had made a move after the Ed O'Bannon case to pay players for the NIL, there is no lawsuit. That's exactly right.
I wish they had. Then the mess that I'm worried about happening would have already happened. We'd be in the middle of it, as opposed to wondering what's going to happen. So if we would be past it, or things would be destroyed at this point if it would have been done.
So here's the only issue I have, and then we got to take a break. But I'll address this. I'll get your response. You keep saying the mess that we're in. What mess? The only mess that we're in are messes that Lonzo is convinced are gonna happen, but haven't yet.
Yeah, same discussion I had when the transfer portal started, and I was given the same kind of flack that you're giving me now on this when I said it would be free agency. Oh, no, you're just going to the extreme. It's never going to be like that. And what is it now? It's free agency. And now you throw that on top of being able to get paid by sponsors. Then, hey, I'm not getting paid enough. I'm jumping. I'm going to another team. So team continuity doesn't exist anymore. The play on the field and on the court goes down. The product suffers because of this.
And I guess so I guess what this comes down to is that this I guess what this is, sorry, I had to engage the tactical cough button there is what happened. I think what it comes down to is just core philosophy on the sport. I don't see any of those things as a problem. Lonzo does. We can discuss it. 844-GSP ESPN. Ingles Market text line open at 71307. Let's take a break. We're back after this. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It's ESPN Upstate.
I have a live.
Okay.
We are done for the hour.
What's that?
Coming back with a keyword.
Okay. Are being made right now. Lonzo loves the Bluebell commercials, ladies and
No,
gentlemen.
I don't.
For Bluebell ice cream at Walmart Supercenters and Walmart Neighborhood Market.
There's nothing worse than coming home from a hot day to find out that your AC unit isn't working. When this happens, you need an HVAC company you can trust. A company like Priority Heating and Air. Their HVAC specialist will give your system a thorough checkup. And if you need a new unit, Priority Heating and Air is a proud distributor of the Coleman line of HVAC systems. So keep your family or business cool this summer and give Priority Heating and Air a call today at 591-1847 or find them online at PriorityHeatingandAirHVAC.com.
Golfers, the best upstate deal on golf is back and on sale now. The 2021 Upstate Golf Card gets you a round of golf at 9 premier upstate courses, and it's only $99. You'll spend more on a sleeve of balls than a round of golf. Grab your foursome and get your upstate golf cards now. Play courses including
So these guys were just arrested back in my hometown of Fort Walton Beach for being white supremacist. And they included their nicknames Brandon Scumbag Welch, Maverick Saxon Mayer, and George Shrek Andrews III. Hang on.
Ain't got no net.
I gotta share this with the screen. So these are the three cats that were just arrested for being in a white supremacy gang and committing a hate crime back in Fort Walton. And look at the nickname on the guy on the right. They call him Shrek. Ladies and gentlemen, when they talk about superior genes, you just remember that Shrek, George Shrek Andrews II, considers that guy. That's incredible.
You know, even in those kind of groups, do you give yourself your own nickname or does somebody else? I'm curious.
So the rules I've always played by, you don't give yourself your own nickname. Your nickname's earned.
Yeah, I've always heard that.
And that doesn't mean it'll be a good one or a bad one. It just means that something will happen and you will earn a nickname for it. That cat's genetics determine his nickname.
Or maybe he belches a lot. Maybe a combination of both.
That dude looks like Shrek. Your keyword for the $1,000 cash stash, the upcoming 1 o'clock hour, is cloud. C-L-O-U-D, cloud. C-L-O-U-D. You're going to text cloud, C-L-O-U-D, to 72881 for your chance to win a grand in the $1,000 cash stash on ESPN Upstate. Text cloud, C-L-O-U-D, to 72881. When we come back in just a moment from right now, we'll break down some Team USA soccer and basketball. Bryson DeChambeau says his driver sucks, and the rivalry with Brooks gets better. That and more next hour of the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
A golf cart in the first break.
How did they all fit in the Mitsubishi Eclipse? How did Shrek's head fit in a Mitsubishi Eclipse?
Is a Eclipse, is that known as being one of those? A
The
white
entire Florida
supremacist vehicle?
Panhandle is
Oh, okay. I don't know.
that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I believe they got arrested in Santa Rosa County. Nope, not Santa Rosa. Walton County, which is Walton County is split right down the middle. The bottom half of Walton County is where like 30A and Watercolor and all these communities that are big time vacation destinations are. And the north end of 30A is like the north end of Walton County is like the meth capital of Florida.
Yeah, those guys look like meth guys.
Yeah, correct.
Although we don't see their teeth. So, that might be a dead giveaway.
It's bad when you look so methed up that I don't even need to see the meth parts to know that you're a meth person.
Sorry, I heard
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson saying it. Yeah, for sure.
That's methed up. Yes, Mike, they are. My wife goes to Clemson with a kid literally named Shrek. Like that's his legal name, Sean. His legal name is Shrek.
If he's an offensive lineman, I'm okay with it.
Legal name is Shrek.
If he's an offensive lineman, I'm okay with it. If he's like 6'7" and about 350, I'm okay with him being Shrek.
Legal name. Speaking of methed up, Sean says maybe his parents loved the movie. I feel like if you give birth in the hospital and they come out and go, what have you decided on as a legal name? And your response is Shrek. CPS should immediately take that child into a better home. I have seen some names that I'm like, that's a tough name to give a kid. But Shrek? Shrek? Man. So, during the break, I found on the Facebook page of the hometown newspaper from back where I come from in the Florida Panhandle, they arrested 3 guys who are members of a white supremacist group who committed a violent act. They found them, they arrested them. And they listed both the first names and the aliases for these 3 individuals, one of whom's nickname was Shrek. I showed it on the Facebook stream, which is why you should watch the Facebook stream at facebook.com/ESPN Upstate, twitter.com/ESPN Upstate, or on YouTube by searching The Rob Brown Show. The dude looks like Shrek, all right? He looks like Shrek. He just does. So then Sean Dwyer pops into the Facebook stream and says, my wife goes to Clemson with a kid literally named Shrek. I said, wait a minute. Is that the kid's legal name? Like when he signs a legal document, he signs Shrek. When he gets his driver's license, the name on the ID is Shrek. And Sean says, yes. Yes, his legal name is Shrek. I want you to know, all of you, that I don't judge people on their name.
I think you've been judging for the last 5 or 6 minutes.
If you get nicknamed Shrek by your friends, you have 2 options. A, live with it, because sometimes you get stuck with a crappy nickname. Or B, find new and better friends. If you are in the hospital, you give birth, the doctor or whoever comes out and goes, congratulations, it's a boy. Have you chosen a name? And you say, yes.
You say, let me see them first. And you look at them and you say,
he looks like a Shrek.
I dubbed thee Shrek.
If you get asked, have you selected a name, and for any reason at all, you decide that your child's name, legally, and until he can and will legally change his name, because he will.
Do you know how expensive it is to change your name?
Do you think a kid named Shrek cares?
If you're named Shrek, you probably come from poor socio family.
You find a way.
Because I don't think a well-to-do family would name their kid. I know I'm being stereotypical here, and I'm just thinking, probably not college level, probably not up there, and
if your parents named you Shrek, and you start a GoFundMe to help pay for the cost of legally changing your name, your GoFundMe will make $1 million before you publish it.
I don't know. I think people may go, "What's wrong with Shrek?" And you get like $1, and that's it.
No, that GoFundMe would break the GoFundMe servers.
So you're saying if I wanted to drop my first name, which I've wanted to do my entire life, but I've looked at how much it costs to drop said first name, that I could do a GoFundMe page and get the money to drop my first name?
No, because your name's not Shrek. You have a normal first name. You may not like it, but
I
you have a normal
feel
first
like
name.
my first name is as bad as Shrek. So
I am telling you as a fact it is not. That's not subjective. It is an objective fact that your first name is not as bad as someone naming their poor, innocent, defenseless baby Shrek.
all right, so we had a story on the Upstate Pulse, 7 to 9, 106.3 WORD every Saturday. We had a story last week about a metalhead in New Zealand who named her kids Pantera, Metallica, and what was the last one? Slayer. So which is worse, being named Shrek, Pantera, Metallica, or Slayer?
Shrek!
Now-
Shrek is the worst of those.
Slayer's pretty cool.
Slayer's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But you better grow up to. It's kind of like the exact opposite, but the same theory of a boy named Sue, right?
Yeah.
Like you better grow up to be a hard ass if they named you Slayer. You better be. You can't be like, "Hey kid, what's your name?" "My name's Slayer." "You guys want to play some Dungeons and Dragons with me, Slayer?" You can't grow up like that.
Although, with Dungeons and Dragons, Slayer might actually work.
Yeah, if the character's name is Slayer.
Well, no, if he's,
if you can't roll in
He's
cargo
probably-
shorts and be called Slayer.
could be chaotic evil. I mean, there's a lot of ways you could go there.
But
But
Shrek is still objectively, you could be an absolute Adonis of a man.
I'm
You
bringing,
could be freaking Cristiano Ronaldo. If Cristiano Ronaldo was exactly the same guy, arguably the most well-known and considered best-looking athlete on the planet, and they were like, "Ladies and gentlemen, starting at right attack, Shrek Ronaldo," we'd all be like, no!
all right. So I brought up the other thing as a point that parents can name their kids whatever they want. It's to a certain degree. There are some places where I think certain names you're not allowed, but for the most part, they just look at it and it's like, okay, just write it off, and that's their name.
But can and should are very different things. And by the way, just keep in mind, when you are naming your kids and you pick a name like Mackenzie, but you spell it McKKKZKZNNZIZZAZEY, but you're like, it's pronounced Mackenzie. Keep in mind, while you think it's cute and fun, the child has to carry that name until they can legally change it. So you name this poor creature Shrek, sent him to college where he's supposed to figure out how to be an adult around other jerks who are figuring out how to be adults, and you named him Shrek.
I just want
You thought, isn't this hilarious? We named our child Shrek. In the meantime, poor Shrek was getting his ass kicked in high school because he was named Shrek.
or he was, as you pointed out, a boy named Sue. He was toughened up and was someone you don't want to mess with, because you don't want to mess with an ogre. I wonder what his middle name was. You think it was Donkey?
Oh, God. That's so bad. Like, so bad. Keegan says maybe he was conceived during Shrek. Listen, the type of people, that was me slamming my elbow down out of frustration. The type of people who are engaging in the required activities to conceive a child while watching Shrek are exactly the type of jerks that would name their child Shrek. So it wouldn't surprise me. Because if you're watching Shrek and going, "Oh, I'm feeling a little randy, babe," what do you say? We allow the Scottish accent of Mike Myers to get us in the mood. Then it doesn't shock me that you, for whatever insane reason, thought naming my kid Shrek is a good idea. Texas says, if my name was Shrek, I'd probably do meth too. Yeah, to escape the painful, tortured reality that your parents
all right.
put you
So
in.
I wanted to know the origin of Shrek, and the first thing that popped up, of course, was Mike Myers. But the other thing, there is what does Shrek mean in Yiddish? So Shrek is actually a Yiddish word, which means fear or fright.
So it's not only bad enough that they named you after a fictional ogre with a bad accent. Great movies, by the way. I love the Shrek movies. I'm not judging them. They're fun. But not only did you name him after a fictitious ogre, but in the dialect the word originally comes from, you named him Fear?
Or fright.
Don't name your kid Shrek. Don't give your kids a dumb name. If you want to give them a unique name, cool. Just remember, they have to carry it around.
All right. So there's another one that says that Shrek is derived from German and it means gift from God.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Because at no point, even if you were in Germany, number one, what kind of head you got to have on your shoulders to believe that your child is a gift from God?
I would say that every child is a gift from God, but that's my perspective.
Now you're just gonna make me look like the bad guy.
I'm just
You're just
saying.
gonna make me look like the bad guy.
There is nothing like a baby smile, Rob.
The vast majority of your children are average and will accomplish nothing with their life. There's the heel side of me.
I was going to say, was that directed
at you.
Because you were looking at me when you said it. So
The majority of you who consider your children gifts from God, I want you to know that the biggest thing they'll ever accomplish is being the root cause of a traffic jam at some point in their life. All right, it is what it is.
Wow, that was kind of personal. It's kind of messed up.
I'm saying
your name should be Shrek.
Hey, now I'm an all-star. What do you want? I got my game on. Sports. All right. 844-GSP-ESPN. 844-477-3776. Clip number 4, if you don't mind, Lonzo. Yesterday, after a rough day at the Open Championship, Bryson DeChambeau decided to go full Bryson DeChambeau when he sat down for an interview. And what was it that caused Bryson DeChambeau's tough day on the course? Well, here is Bryson DeChambeau to tell you.
If I can hit it down the middle of the fairway, that's great. But again, with the driver right now, the driver sucks. It's not a good face for me, and we're still trying to figure out how to make it good on the miss hits. And, I'm living on the razor's edge like I've told people for a long time. And, when I did get it outside of the fairway, like in the first cut and whatnot, I catch jumpers out of there, and I couldn't control my wedges. So it's quite finicky for me because it's a golf course that's pretty short. And so when I hit driver up there and it doesn't necessarily go in the fairway, it's right in the first cut or whatever, or it's in the hay, it's tough for me to get it out onto the green and control that. But when it's in the middle of the fairway, like I had it on 18, I was able to hit a nice shot in there to 11 feet and almost made birdie. So it's kind of, living on the razor's edge. And, if I can figure out how to make that driver go a little straighter and figure out the jumpers out of the rough, that'd be awesome. I just can't figure it out. It's forever.
I am going to play golf today. All right. Me and a couple of buddies from over at the Triumph, we're going to go hit the links today. And I'm going to go ahead and warn y'all, because I know the folks over at the Triumph listen every day. What up? I'm going to go ahead and tell Doug and the rest of the crew that today, when I shank my first drive into the woods, I am going to go, this driver sucks. Come on, Bryson.
Question is, while you're there, are you going to be living on the edge the entire time?
Hey, now, you're a rock star. All right. Bryson, dog, listen. I have had your back. I have, because I thought that the trolling has been outstanding. The shirt you wore with the math equations and the weights and dumbbells on it, loved it. I love your approach to the game of golf. All right, I'm that guy. I love the scientific approach to golf. How can we make the ball spin more? How can we get more draw, fade, slice, etc.? I have loved your approach to the game of golf. I have had you back this entire time. I really have. But dude, rule number 1 of golf, Don't go out there and blame the equipment. Best part of this story. Immediately after he did that, immediately after he said that, after he said the driver sucked, you know who else was there, by the way? Bryson, who uses Cobra clubs, and then said the driver sucks. The guy that was there, a tour operations manager for Cobra Golf, who caddied for Bryson a few weeks back at the Rocket Mortgage Classic, was like, that was dumb and a dumb thing to say. Quote, it's just really, really painful when he says something that stupid. He has never really been happy, ever. Like, it's very rare when he's happy. I know that if I got him cornered right now and said, hey, what the hell did you say that for? He would say that he was mad. He really didn't mean to say it that harshly. He knows how much everyone bends over backwards for him, but it's still not cool. Now, to his credit, if you elect to give him any type of credit, to his credit, Bryson immediately came back out and recognized that he screwed the pooch. He said, quote, the comment I made in my post-round interview today was very unprofessional. My frustration and emotions over the way I drove the ball today boiled over. I suck today, not my equipment. Cobra and I have worked together for over 5 years, and they are some of the hardest working people in the golf industry and make an incredible product. Their team is like family to me, especially Ben Showman, who has been there for me every step of the way since I started my career. I deeply regret my words I used earlier. I am relentless in pursuit of improvement and perfection. Part of that causes me to become outwardly frustrated at times. With the new speeds I am obtaining, my game is a constant work in progress, and so is controlling my emotions, end quote. Lonzo, does he get credit for self-realization after his guy that literally gives him the golf clubs to play and has done so for free for years came out and said, hey, you're kind of being an ass right now?
See, I don't know. Do golfers have agents, especially to handle that sort of thing? So I'm guessing his agent sent him a text or called him immediately and said, you need to get out in front of this or you're about to lose a lot of money.
What an idiot. What an idiot. Bryson, dog, I love you. I love you. I do. I have been arguably your only fan in the media for years. Well, for years. Since you came back as the Lou Ferrigno style of golfer that you try to be. I have been in your corner, my dude. I like you. I respect you. I got your back. But dude, not a great move. Not a great look. Texture says, ESPN. Rob, I agree with you. I'm actually a one handicap, but have been held back for years by my golf clubs. Yeah, same here. I realistically shoot a 75 every time I play, but I got bad clubs, Lonzo, so I'm cranking out 97s. Those 20 strokes, all in the golf bag. That's just a fact. It's just a fact.
So what you're saying is your golf bag and everything in it sucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spectacular golfer. Honestly, I should be at the Opium Championship right now. I should be playing around and then doing this show. But it's the gear in my bag that's holding me back. That's the problem. I feel you, Bryson. I really do. It's not your fault.
I hate to steal something from the stream, but I will. So if all of your clubs were tactical, would that make them better clubs?
You ready for this? I don't. So I have a 56-degree wedge in my back. All right. It's angled a little. Actually, I think I have a 60 in there now. No, I got a 56 in there. And the 56 is like a pitching wedge, but the club is tilted back more so that you can hit the ball fire. You get less distance. You hit it up more. You get more control when you're inside of 100 yards and trying to downgrade your swing on a pitching wedge.
I just looked up because I was curious. So Callaway makes a Mac Daddy 4 tactical wedge.
I would be fine. I accept that that use of the word tactical. I do, because it's a comp. We say yesterday, tactical is used when you are in some sort of competition, whether it's war down to sports. That's fine. That's a fine use of the word tactical, because I could use a pitching wedge, but I'm going to make a tactical decision to use this 56-degree wedge to give myself a little more room to breathe on my swing. I accept that usage of the word tactical. The visor in your car is not tactical. It's just the visor. Your sunglasses, unless you are in the desert fighting a war, are not tactical sunglasses. They're just sunglasses.
If your visor can also be used as a throwing star, that's tactical, right?
Yeah, but that's not a thing. God, don't give them ideas. Don't give the people who make late night television.
Let me look that up.
Ideas.
I bet I can find one.
All right. Let's see. One more text. Texter says, hey, Rob, what's your thoughts on people naming their kids after seasons? Be careful with your answer. I'm fine with that. Autumn, summer, winter, great names. Spring. I really don't mind those names. That's fine. I think you're missing out. I'm not saying don't give your kids names that are meaningful or unique to you and your family. I'm saying don't name your kid Shrek. And as far as names that mean something go, Lonzo, if I told you that I had a name that meant noble, majestic wolf, kick-ass name, you'd be willing to name your kid that, right?
No.
What, you would be willing to name your kid that?
No.
Why?
I name my kid for my own reasons. I don't take suggestions from other people.
Okay, if you stumbled across a name that meant noble, majestic wolf for like a new son, that'd be a killer name, right?
I've got to remember to get this. I will, and I'm going to point this out right now just so you have this as a warning. I need to get Admiral Akbar ready for every time you do this stuff for me. And I meant to get it already, but I've been a little busy.
It's a trap. If you think a name that means noble, majestic wolf is a cool name, congratulations. You just named your kid Adolf. Quick break. Back after this on the Shrek Brown Show at ESPN Upstate.
Golf cart.
The 2021 golf card is on sale now, ladies and gentlemen. And at upstategolfcard.com, you are going to find that you can purchase one for just $99. And when you do, you are going to get 9 rounds of golf at 9 beautiful courses around the upstate. As a matter of fact, I got one. And I'm going to play around today. Soon as we get out of here, I got my after show work to do. And then your boy's hitting the Preserve at Verde, one of the 9 beautiful courses right there on the 2021 golf cart. Going to go get 18 in today. And you could be too. Think about it. You get done with work. You're all stressed out. The boss gave you the new project. You're not ready. You're not ready for Monday. So instead, you call up one of the 9 courses and go, hey, can I get a 5:15 tee time? I'm going to come get 18 in before it gets dark at 3:30 in the morning Eastern time, as it wants to do here. You could be doing the same thing I am. But to do that, you got to grab the 2021 Upstate Golf Card. Go to upstategolfcard.com, upstategolfcard.com. Grab yours now and get out and play. It's the 2021 Upstate Golf Card.
I'm Mike Sutton with your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update. Tampa Bay quarterback Tom Brady played with a torn MCL all of last season, even though he did not appear on an NFL injury report. The injury first appeared in his final season with the New England Patriots, but progressively got worse throughout last season. 43-year-old Brady led the Buccaneers to a Super Bowl win over the Kansas City Chiefs. Conor McGregor says the UFC officials knew that he had multiple stress fractures in his left leg prior to his fight with Dustin Poirier in UFC 264. McGregor broke that leg in the closing moments of the first round, leading to Poirier winning in a TKO. For lightning fast sports alerts, download the Score app today. It's absolutely free and one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Mike Sutton. You can throw a football 90 yards like an NFL QB and make a big buck. And you can score a great every hour with us. Every hour from 7 to 5 p.m. We did a keyword. Text into your supply this national contest. You could be the winner of a big chunk of dough 11 times a day. Powered by BetQL. Let BetQL's proven data and analytics help you become a better bet. Download the BetQL app today. At Fisher Investments, our clients know we have their backs. How do your clients know that? Because Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, the highest standard for a financial advisor. It means we're there for our clients and always put their interests first.
So wait, you do it because you have to?
No, we do it because it's the right thing to do. Our clients trust us with their retirement savings, and we know how important that responsibility is. So we take the time to really get to know them.
Get to know them how?
We make sure we understand their unique goals, finances, health, family, and lifestyle, so we can tailor their portfolio to their specific needs. Our goal is to help them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Sounds like a big responsibility. You must make big commissions then, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We have one single transparent fee that's structured so we do better when our clients do better. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you are switching to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Welcome to Moe's. Mom, let's talk. Chickpea pasta? Seriously? Feel free to tell the mommy blogger it ain't working. If you want me to eat better, let's just go to Moe's. I'll get a quesadilla, burrito, or taco. Throw in a little chicken, cheese, and some lettuce and black beans if you want. And since I'm under 12,
For the
free on Sundays.
Spartan Burgers game,
Mhm.
would you like to be the secondary mascot and dress as a bottle of ketchup or mustard? Your pick.
No, I would not. That is the kind of thing that will just make me stay at home. But, you know. Was that a legitimate question?
Yeah.
Enjoy your time with the Spartan Burgers.
It's not obligatory. I'm just saying you had the option to dress as a
Yeah,
bottle of
well,
mustard if you'd
you know.
like. Are you saying you would
So
not
what
like?
you're saying is I'm the mascot of this program.
No, I was saying both of us.
That's no. You asked me if I would. You didn't
Right.
say you would. If you
My decision on whether I do or don't should not impact yours.
if you do it, I would do
Either-
it. If it's just me, then I'm staying at home. Because I guarantee you that show for men, neither one of them in a mascot uniform.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is ESPN Upstate. Rob Alonzo with you here. Both normally named human beings, if I may say so myself. 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN is the number if you'd like to be a part of the show. Clip number 12. I'm not even going to set this up, ladies and gentlemen. I'm simply going to say, I told you. I told you. I'm not even going to tell you what it is. Here's the clip. Momentarily. That's on me. Or not.
No. What it is I actually went to track 12 and not clip 12 and nearly played track 12.
What's track 12?
Well, you skipped some numbers in your.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
You went to the 12th clip instead of number 12.
Yes, but I got it now, so we're good.
Okay, number 12.
Let me ask you, what you would rather see?
Between what?
Jake Paul versus Floyd? Or me versus Floyd again? Because let me tell you something.
Right.
If I fight Floyd again, I promise I'll knock him out.
Right.
Promise.
So you want that rematch?
I got him figured out. I got it. End of the 8th round, he's breathing heavy, I'm coming alive. It's going to be a 10-12 round fight. We run it back, and this time I finish him.
Are there any talks for that, you and Floyd?
No, none. I don't think it's going to happen. This is all just hypothetical.
But you want it to happen. Message to Floyd.
Hey, Floyd, thanks for the opportunity. Would love to run it back sometime if you're feeling up for it, champ.
My goodness. It's almost as if, Lonzo, theoretically, of course, I would never make such a brash proclamation. But it's almost as if that fight between Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather was something that they only did so that they could come back and do another fight between Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather. Gosh, if only someone would have said when this fight happens, don't give them money for it, because if this succeeds, then they're going to just start pushing a rematch. And whoever wins the first one We'll lose the second one. And then they're going to start pushing a third one for the rubber stamp, and that's going to be the one they really put into it. Oh my gosh, it's almost like this was a predictable publicity stunt that insulted boxing. Shocking.
If they could just put Conor McGregor in there in his boot, then I might put some money down on that.
I will give you, there has been one Paul fight that has been advertised, Lonzo, that I will give money to. One and one alone. And I'm begging for it to happen. I really am. The other day, Logan Paul said he wanted to fight Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez. Lonzo, I will give you, Jake Paul, not Logan Paul, the other idiot. Jake Paul said, quote, I want to take down Canelo Alvarez in the next 3 years. People forget I'm the bigger guy by a lot. Lonzo, I'll go on the record right now. I will put down a hundo to watch Canelo Alvarez murder Jake Paul in his stupid face. What have I been saying from the beginning about these two clowns? Call me when you box a boxer. Not a retired NBA star. Not a money-making machine who's out of his prime in Floyd. Call me when you box a boxer, and I'll show up for you. You will get my dollar bills, y'all, at that point. But this is, you want Canelo? I'll give him Canelo. I met Canelo at, well, I didn't meet him. I shook hands with him at the Pro-Am.
Did he have a strong grip?
Oh, God. The dude is solid. All right? Solid. Got a mean little inside game, too. Mean little short game on the golf course. But I told y'all months ago when this dumbass fight happened that the only point of it was to start working on setting up a rematch so that they could run it back on you. That was it. And here we are. Already calling for it. Get out of here with that weak sauce, man. Get out of here with that. 844-477-3776, 844-GSP, ESPN. Take a break. When we come back, Team USA Soccer, big win last night. 6-1 victory over Martinique. Look, it's not a great team from Martinique. Experienced team. A lot of caps on that team. It's a good look. But a 6-1 win. And I think we learned a couple of things that might just help us as we're just a couple of months away from getting started with World Cup qualifiers. Texter says, ESPN, I'd pay $20 to watch you watch the fight. Oh, I'll live stream it. I'll figure it out. Another texter says a hundo on Canelo would win you about $7. Yeah. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
Enjoy a powerful business upgrade with Dell Technologies Black Friday and July event. Get amazing savings with up to 50% off high-performance computers and tech built for business, and be able to take your office with you with Windows 10 Pro. Plus, get great offers on Dell servers, monitors, docks, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Call 877.
Ben Barch is a tight end for St. John's University. And they just did a feature for him on ESPN where they asked him what his protein shake was comprised of. And his answer, though, was 7 eggs, cottage cheese, grits, peanut butter, a banana, and a bottle of Gatorade, all blended together. How much do I have to pay you to drink that?
There is no amount of money that could get me to partake in anything that has grits involved.
That's your issue? It has grits in it. That's the issue?
That's my issue.
Wow. Wow.
That's where Slipper Heavy Duty Dusters come in, with thousands of specially coated fibers to trap and lock dust in one swipe.
So do I bring in my blender and make one of these to drink on air? Is that a segment we do?
I'm down
to do it if I do it.
Not the grits.
So we'll make that, but no grits, and you'll try it.
No grits, and I'll do it.
You realize you can't taste the grits with 7 eggs.
That's the entire point. That's the entire point. Grits taste like nothing.
Grits. Who's been making your grits?
If you have to put, if you put butter on it, you put salt and pepper on it, by the time you put all that stuff on it, you taste all the things you put on it. You don't taste the grits. You know why? Because grits have no flavor. So anyway, all that other stuff, I don't have a problem with it. I've probably done worse, but I am not. Nothing to do with grits. My goal is to be as regionally offensive as I possibly can.
Mission accomplished.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Jeff Passan and Enrique Rojas report the Yankees and Red Sox are expected to play tonight in New York. The 6 Yankees players who tested positive for COVID out, including Aaron Judge and Gio Urshela. Could Brady's accomplishment more mind-boggling? According to the Tampa Bay Times, Brady played all of last season with a torn MCL in his left knee. He had surgery on the knee back in late February. Louis Oosthuizen holds the lead in the second round of the Open Championship, 10 under, 1 ahead of Colin Morikawa, 2 ahead of Jordan Spieth. Coming up on the Max Kellerman Show, camps are opening.
Mark, you tell the love of my life and apple of my eye that I miss her more than her husband.
Tune in, the Max Kellerman Show, weekdays 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN Plus. Unfiltered sports talk brewed.
Clip number 8, if you don't mind, please. A great one. Last night, Team USA Soccer in the CONCACAF Gold Cup, a tournament that I would very much like for the men's national soccer team to win. They went up against a not great, but very experienced Martinique team, a Martinique team that Canada had trounced earlier in the week. So there were 2 separate pressures here on the United States. And by the way, in the Gold Cup, the U.S. has been effectively running a B team, right? They've been effectively running out a B team, a group of MLS players that are not amongst the Western McKinneys and Gio Reynas and Christian Pulisics of the game, but guys that are right there on the verge of potentially making it onto the next World Cup roster. Guys like Daryl Dike, Orlando City SC, a guy that your boy has been hollering for a minute should get the start. Well, all he did, and what the heck? Let's just play the highlights and let you listen to it.
He's going to get there down in the corner. The back for Matthew Hoppe on his debut. Hoppe's cross in the middle. DK in off the post. Daryl DK does it again on his second start, his second goal, and a great start for the U.S. against Martinique.
Well, this starts for the United States with Eric Williamson. An excellent diagonal ball to open up the field, stretch the back line for Martinique. He finds Bello, and then Hoppe has time and space to deliver 4 runners in the box for the United States, 3 defenders. And when you have Daryl Dike going up and getting it, what an excellent header. Just the timing there. He actually has to come back and get it. And the ball is hidden with such great pace from Hoppe that all he has to do is just redirect it. Doesn't even have to try and generate that type of power in off the post. Excellent finish. And DK, a man that many U.S. fans wanted to see get the start.
Hoppe waiting for it, trying to bring it down. Gondal able to recover, it's held in. Hoppe the back heel. Fuzio off the bar. DK the follow-up, it's cleared up in the air, it's a cross. Who's going to claim it? Who cares? 2-0 United States.
I mean, what a crazy sequence. And by the way, DK is going to claim it. He's a striker. Any player that touched it in that sequence is going to claim this goal. And it's good pressing from Bello, though, stepping high to win the second one. Good recognition from Hoppe that, okay, I couldn't get the strike off on the left foot.
Busio bounces all the way through. Williamson there to get it. Williamson trying to reset on the doorstep. Miles Robinson is there. And the U.S. cashes in for their third goal early in the second half.
Well, it's good pressure from the set piece. The first one, you can see they're stacking numbers on top of the Martinique goalkeeper, Meslion, and it comes all the way through. But now you've got everybody up, recycle ball. Eric Williamson doing a good job getting that first touch and getting his body around, head up, and puts a good ball into a good spot. And it's just Miles Robinson drifts in completely unmarked. Hoppy and rolled on to the near post track, 2 defenders. It's misjudged by Martinique, and then he's 4 yards out, just nods it home. Good finish for his second international goal.
Back in for DK. Got back to it, DK!
Well, DK shows you a little bit of everything on this play. Starts it, good hold-up play, continues his run. That first touch, and you see Roldan's reaction. I'm not sure that was meant for DK, but he says, hey, I'll take this. It's off the thigh, and then a little poise there, strength, get out of my way, and then the skill and composure at the end of that play. One eyes only on the goal right now. He knows where it is. He sees Messalon coming off his line and just lobs it up over him. Thought he had his second goal in this game. It was taken back for an own goal. Gets his second now. Great work from DK. He starts it from deep, drives the team forward, direct, route one. And the man's taking advantage of his opportunity at the number 9 spot for the United States.
Close back down Canada's goal differential. How about that ball? Jossie Zardes running in. Zardes takes it himself and scores.
Nice goal. Nice goal. That's what Greg Berhalter said, and it was a really nice goal. This starts all the way back in the United States defensive part of the field. Miles Robinson playing out of pressure, then finds Sands. Sands finds Roldan. Roldan finds Jossie Zardes in behind, saying, hey, Daryl DK, you had a chance to score some goals against this back line. Let me show what I can do. Straight onto the field, running in behind, has a little look, sees the angle, can't pick out a pass. But what does he do? Picks out that far corner. Excellent finish from Zardes. Straight into the game, straight with a goal, and as Greg Berhalter said, good goal. That was a really nice goal from the United States.
Touch, laying it off for Yule, able to hold it in. Yule's shot got knocked down. Busio a chance. Busio rolled it for there you go. Joe Akini, the 2 Kansas City Kids combine for the 6th of the night for the U.S.
Well, for Joe Akini, it's try, and try again. Keep shooting, keep going. And he does so here, and he finally gets his reward after being stunned twice by Meslion in goal. It's a great ball from Busio, though. It's just a recycled ball on a set piece. Jackson Yule into the top of the box, gets it out quickly to him. And as we've seen for the U.S., a number of these balls fired low, hard across the box. The marking from Martinique is really poor. And if Joe Akini had missed that one, he might have just walked off the field.
I got to tell you, Lonzo, it feels really good to make a U.S. men's national highlight reel that long, and that was only the goals. That was only goals. That wasn't great pieces of work that resulted in a no goal. It wasn't PKs. It wasn't corners that ended up hitting a bar and bouncing out. That was nothing but the six goals scored by the U.S. last night. Had I told you before that game, Lonzo, had I been able to guarantee that the U.S. was going to score 6 goals, would I have been able to get you to watch?
Yes.
See? Now, I can't do that. 6-goal games, even against below average talent, are just tough to do. That's why this is impressive. That's why it's exciting. That's why when we get guys like Daryl DK from Orlando City, who went out there last night and absolutely crushed, it's optimistic. It makes me optimistic. Buddy mine, Anderson, here in the area, put on his Facebook thing that he was Facebook post last night that he was a little disappointed that there's not more people who support the men's national soccer team. To which I made a couple of points. Number one, look at the number of people who support the women's national team. Zoe's pointed this out 100 times, and he's been right every time. Why does the U.S. women's national soccer team seem to have more supporters than the men's side? Because they got gold, son. Because they drip. They got all the gold. They're probably going to go get a little more of it this Olympics roster. I hope. The men's side, needs to keep doing that. And I think with this youth movement, right? So you got the Daryl DKs. You got the Zardes, who got a goal last night. You got these young cats out there, and this was the B team. That was the best of the B team last night, which the best of the B team is now going to work their way up to be the supporting cast for the A team. Go win the Gold Cup. Go win the Gold Cup. If they go win the Gold Cup, fight their way into the World Cup, and bring this momentum into it, people will give it a shot. By the way, here's a fun thing for you, Zoe. I saw this. More people watched the U.S. v. Mexico in the Nations League final, which was the A team. More people watched the U.S. v. Mexico Nations Cup final, Lonzo, than have watched any NBA Finals game last year or this year. That includes LeBron. That includes but now, granted, this is one of the things that always ticks me off about the NBA. Somebody somewhere is going to blame it on the fact that you got two small market teams and we're going to suffer, we being small market fans. They're going to go, NBA is getting less than soccer. Or is it just that, hey, there was a trophy on the line. And look what happened when the U.S. men's team went out and won a trophy in a major tournament. People tuned in to watch it happen. Why don't more support the men's team? Because they hadn't won anything yet. But they just picked up a big one in the Nations League, and they got sights drawn on winning the Gold Cup now, too. And if they win those back-to-back, there's momentum going into the World Cup qualifying cycle. Watch it happen.
You're saying watch it happen, but they've had momentum before, and then they get to where they need to be, and they let everybody down.
Well, I agree, which is why I said if they win the tournament. Not that it will happen, but if they win the tournament. I mean, even the best teams are going to drop one here and there. But if they win the tournament, watch the momentum they carry into the World Cup. Quick break. Back after this. Finish up hour number 2. Rob Alonzo, you at ESPN Upstate. I'm sure there were a lot, Carter. But the ratings are the ratings as far as TV goes. And the other aspect of it is the more it's on TV, the more people are going to start tuning in. When you put it on Fox Sports 2, which is a channel most people don't even have, they're not going to be there for it. If you put it on ESPN, there are going to be some people who go, oh, I'll give this thing a shot and I'll hang out. Maybe they get turned on to it. But I think soccer more than anything else is it's a sport you've got to go. It's like baseball. It's just more well, I think every sport more enjoyable in person than on TV, Lonzo? I can't think of a sport that I think I like better on TV than in person. Some people make the argument football because you get all the background chatter.
I like football better at home than I do in person. But every other sport, yeah. And that's just me. I think the majority of people like football because you're out there, and especially college, if it's your team, you're out there with all the like-minded people celebrating your team. I don't know. I think it's really cool that all the crowds have come back after it, because I was curious if we would get full stadiums again, and we are. So there are not a lot of people like me. There are more people wanting to get out there and go to the games.
By the way, Carter just had a baby and did not name it Shrek, so he's a responsible adult.
Good job, Carter.
Yeah, good call, Steven. I saw that. The Euro Cup Championship had more viewers than the MLB All-Star Game, which is considered the best of the All-Star Games. Now, I'm glad you brought that up, because somebody the other day was complaining that the All-Star Game's biggest problem was that it was overproduced, right? It was too much focused on like a social media content machine as opposed to focusing on the baseball, which I don't know if I agree with.
The football season is always exciting. Coaches getting hired, players getting traded, free agents moving to new cities. If you want to hire,
I should not have bowled as much as I did, because now I got to play golf, and yes, the right side of my body is sore. And also, I should get in shape.
Well, there's that, but it may have loosened you up to a degree that, maybe you'll swing better than you would have before.
I hope I golf better than I bowl, though.
I'm sure the course will be wonderful.
I'll give them this. It's a cool facility. Like, it's a cool place. If you're going to hang out with friends and have a couple of drinks and relax, that's a cool place to do it. But if you're going to try to bowl a 2-hundo, that's not the spot to try to do it at.
If you brought your own ball, you would have been fine.
You think so? I think maybe I may have to go back, bring my own ball, and try it this time. I almost went home to get it, and I'm like, I don't want to be the one loser from the radio station that shows up with his own bag, Steven chimes in on the Facebook thread and points out that the Euro final, England versus Italy, had 8.7 million viewers in the U.S., whereas MLB's All-Star Game, which Max Scherzer hyped as the best All-Star game in the United States, had 8.2 million. The fans are there. They just want a good product. It's really relatively simple. The fans are there. They just want a good product. That's all it comes down to. Give them a good product, and they'll be there for it. 844-477-3776, 844-GSP. ESPN is the number, 844-477-3776, 844-GSP. ESPN is the number. Text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307, 71307. Guy texted in, Lonzo, and says, there was a kid I went to school with whose name was Adolf, and his last name started with H. One time over the intercom, the principal said, will Adolf H. please report to the office? And all I could think was, if only that was done a long time ago, end quote. Again, think about what you're naming your kid. I had a kid, this is true too, Zo. I had a kid that I went to school with in high school whose initials were KKK. His first name was Kevin. His last name was Kraus. And his middle name was, I don't remember. It was like a weird, it was a family name. But now, every time that dude has to write his initials down on something, he had to write KKK as his initials. I'm just saying, name your kids unique, funny, whatever. That's cool. Just think about it first, because they have to carry that baggage, not you. And they will resent you for it. They will resent you for it. Kevin was not a fan of his name, and I am assume dude with the name Adolf is not a big fan of his name either. My suspicion. By the way, did you see this? I saw the other day while we stick with a ridiculous thread. Canada reported that for the first time ever.
Yeah, don't do that next Thursday.
Yeah, no, I was watching the same thing. We just watched a dude running bases absolutely eat it, turning first. Or that. Canada reported that from September of last year through last month, though not a single child named Karen was registered with the Canadian government. Not a single kid got the name Karen for like 5 months in Canada.
Karen is a state of mind. So, I mean, it's something you can be without having the name. So you haven't stopped anything, Canada.
ESPN, thanks for the soccer talk. Always, you're right. I follow both women's and men's national teams, but much closer to the women because of how great they play every time, end quote. Yep. Another texter says, listen to Brooks' interview after his ride. So Brooks Koepka, we talked about Bryson's rant against his driver the other day, or yesterday. Brooks came out after today's round, had a pretty solid round top to bottom, and in the presser afterwards, Lonzo, they said, Brooks, how did you feel about your round? He said, yeah, man, I was driving the ball really well. I love my driver. Give me all of Brooks trolling Bryson. It's just funny, man. It's just funny. There's no argument. It's hilarious. All right, let's try to win you a grand $1,000 cash dash on ESPN Upstate. Your keyword for the upcoming 2 o'clock hour is Vivid, V-I-V-I-D, Vivid, V-I-V-I-D, Vivid. Text Vivid, V-I-V-I-D, to 72881, 72881, 72881 for your chance to win a grand in the $1,000 cash dash on ESPN Upstate. Text Vivid, V-I-V-I-D, to 72881 for your chance to win a grand. Coming up in the next hour of the show, Conor McGregor has seen fit to once again grace us with his presence. And yes, another round of excuses incoming. Get you that coming up here in just a minute from now. Plus, we got to talk about the Trevor Bauer situation. Was the Fox All-Star Game overproduced, and a whole lot more. And Fanboy Friday coming up on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Money.
I'm Mike Sutton with your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update. Washington Wizards All-Star Bradley Beal is out of the Tokyo Olympic Games, health and safety reasons, after testing positive for COVID-19. Tonight's exhibition between the United States and Australia in Las Vegas has been canceled. The United States final tune-up before the Olympic Games. Exhibition on Sunday against Spain. Tampa Bay quarterback Tom Brady played all of last season with a torn MCL that he suffered in the final year with the Patriots, and it got worse throughout the season last year. The 43-year-old Brady led the Buccaneers to the Super Bowl title. He did not appear on a single injury report all of last season with Tampa Bay. For lightning fast sports alerts, download the Score app today. It's absolutely free and one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Mike Sutton. Have you heard the Rob Brown Show?
Can they coexist, says Lonzo. I have this sound clip of Kevin Durant in a press conference after the trade was announced. This is what happened.
I know you don't want to get into things until they are official, but what was it like to play with him? What do you remember about him as a teammate? Because you have played together.
It was fun.
Sounds like a guy ready to coexist to me, Lonzo. Hey, Kevin Durant, you played with James Harden back in the OKC Thunder days. And this is a guy that's your new teammate. Chance for you to talk him up. They sound good. What do you remember about playing with him?
It was fun. Well, that was like anytime someone asked about it. You used to work with this guy.
fun.
What was it like? It was fun.
Yeah, I'll be working
It was fun.
And not just about guys that work. Ask me about anything. Hey, Rob, remember that time that you worked in Jacksonville and you lost a girlfriend, a job, and a dog all in 3 days? What was that like?
It was fun.
Catch the Rob Brown Show weekdays noon to 3 on ESPN Upstate. Sometimes reaching the radio is hard.
I'm real comfy under these covers and I can't reach the radio.
Then throw on a robe and get out of bed.
Well, I never.
Then maybe you should.
Alexa may be sassy, but she can help as well.
Just ask and I will play the radio for you.
When you can't reach the radio, ask Alexa to play it for you. Alexa, play ESPN Upstate.
Okay.
And listen to the Upstate sports leader without moving a muscle.
Great idea until atrophy sets in.
ESPN Upstate.
Check this out.
You're an official Rob Brown lockdown.
Represents me to win.
The unfiltered sports talk manufactured locally for the Carolinas. This is the Rob Brown Show. Only on ESPN.
The third, the final, the best hour. The Rob Brown Show's back on your radio. It's ESPN Upstate. Rob, Lonzo, and you. I'm gonna read this text, and then I want you to tell me if you believe him or not, Lonzo. Texter says, ESPN. My friend's mom was a teacher that had a student named Shahid. That's not a bad word. I'm not saying the word.
I knew someone would get you. I knew anytime names are brought up, I knew someone would get you.
I didn't say the word.
Doesn't matter.
Really?
To me, it doesn't matter.
To you, it doesn't matter.
No. Here's the thing. I will always err on the side of caution. And this, anytime it's brought up on any show, someone does that.
You can't. I bow to the great one and his decision to slam the yellow button. I bow to his decision.
If you want to know what Rob said and whether I was right or not, check out the podcast, which will be up because it won't be edited on the podcast because, things can online is not regulated the same way that, the FCC does on air.
Okay. I bow to Lonzo's discretion on this.
You disagree with me.
I do, but you're in charge.
But that's fine.
I bow to your discretion on this. So, guy says his wife is a teacher and had a student that had a name that is a different pronunciation of the word that a lot of people call their friends when they're being one of them.
I have been on the airwaves 24 years in this area, 21 in this company. I have heard this many times. I didn't believe it then. I don't believe it now. I believe it is someone just trying to slip something through. Several different hosts, they've managed to get it through. And again, I'm going to err on the side of pushing the button.
That's fine. Again, I listen. You
and
have done this longer than me.
The look of shock on your face.
No, it was more the reaction. You violently went after the yellow button.
Well,
which I know you have like a small window.
Yeah, and I'm a larger guy, and the button's behind me.
Aggressively, he went to the dump button like Giannis goes to the rack.
Exactly.
He would have taken 2 or 3 defenders out between him and the button. I've heard that story many times.
If there was an engineer behind me, they would have been through the wall.
Been gone. Yeah.
Yes.
That would have earned him a contract with the Predators. That wall check. Lonzo went full goon on it. Another texter says, my father-in-law has a guy working for him whose name is Jonathan, who has a twin brother's name whose name is also Jonathan, but with a long O, and the second part is said like Nathan, so Joe Nathan. See, that one makes sense to me. I get that.
George Foreman named all his sons George.
He named his daughter George, if I recall correctly.
That's possible.
I don't have an issue with Joe Nathan, but I also don't believe that there is anyone who named their kid that thing that I said that got dumped. I don't believe that. It goes right up there with this. I've always heard the story of,
and I'm not completely. I understand the texter and know who the texter is because they've responded on the Facebook page about it. Here's the thing.
Is it one of our regulars?
Yes. I mean, just because, I've heard several different people say they've heard it from a different source.
Yeah, it's always my friend had a teacher who had a son who said. It's never I knew them.
Right. And again, I'm not discounting that you heard it from the source that you said you heard it from, but to me, I'm not airing it. So, that's really what it comes down to. Suspend me, powers that be.
All right, 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. Text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307, 71307. Let's go to clip number 5. Conor McGregor. This is one of those weird spots, Lonzo, where I have a decision that I have to make to bring these things up or not, right? And I don't know if it's the right thing to do. Because on one hand, I know that Conor McGregor is doing and saying what he's doing and saying for attention. The guy's won one fight in 5 years. He is only relevant to the UFC.
All right, what's your name?
And only relevant to MMA. In that he is a draw. He's a money draw, but he's not relevant as far as a legit threat to any titles. So on one hand, I kind of don't want to give him attention because I know that I am perpetuating the issue. But on the other hand, the dude is still, if not one of the biggest 3 money draws for the UFC. So I kind of feel like he is news even when he's not. Anyway, Conor McGregor took to Instagram Live to update us all on the broken leg. And here's what Conor had to say.
I was injured going into the fight. People are asking me, when was the leg broke? At what point did the leg break? Ask Dana White, ask the UFC, ask Dr. Davidson, the head doctor of the UFC. They knew I had stress fractures in my leg going into that cage. There was debate about pulling the thing out because I was sparring with no shin pads and I kicked the knee a few times. So I had multiple stress fractures in the shin bone above the ankle. And then I have trouble with the ankle anyway, do you know what I mean, throughout the years of fighting all the time. So, and I also was wrapping my ankle. I was wrapping my ankle every training session. I even done a lot of training sessions where when the ankle was sore, I still wouldn't stop training. I used to just train on my back. Now I'm essentially after getting exactly what I needed to get there. I needed to get treatment on my leg. I needed to get treatment on the ankle, and I needed to get treatment on the shin bone. And I would have never committed to going under the knife unless something like this has happened. So something like this has happened. I'm after going in, I'm after getting exactly what I needed. And what I needed was a titanium shin bone. So now I've got a titanium rod going down the knee, from the knee to my ankle. And the doctor said it's unbreakable. Once I build back, first of all, manage the incision, the cut, make sure it doesn't get infected, keep the health on it, keep building back that way. Then I'll start playing with the balance, learning how to stand on it again, learning how to balance on the single leg again. Then I'll build the strength. And then I've got an unbreakable titanium leg. I was talking to my physical therapist, Heather, who was with Arnold Schwarzenegger, his other half. And I was saying, I'm like Arnie in Terminator 2. You know what I mean? So I cruise around the Cali streets.
All right, admittedly, he lost me there at the end. No. I understood everything till after Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I have no idea what he just said.
Cruising around on the Cali streets.
No, before that. It was before that. I have no idea what he said.
He felt like Arnie in Terminator.
Oh, okay, Terminator.
He's got a titanium rod in his leg.
I get it now. I didn't understand Terminator.
Yeah.
All right.
Like Arnie in Terminator. I can't do it Irish.
No, I hear it now. Yeah. I just couldn't hear it then. So.
Dude, just whatever.
No, this comes down to, and I don't know how it works in UFC, but in other sports, when you have a major injury, it's supposed to be reported. If not, It's on the organization and on you to a certain degree, but it's supposed to be reported. And I am not surprised. He's like any other guy. He's not going to get something fixed until he has to. You're not going to go to the doctor unless you have to go to the doctor. And now he had to go to the doctor. But if UFC knew about it, I don't know how that's regulated. Do they have to report that he's got an injury? Is it on them for allowing him to compete if they knew that this was a possibility because he already had stress fractures? I don't know. Can he sue them?
Can we start with saying all of this is working onto the assumption that he's not full of crap?
Yeah, he could be
and
lying.
making excuses.
But the fact that has UFC commented on it.
Here's the thing. I don't. They know they haven't. Is the answer.
Well, here when something like an accusation like this is made by a huge star, the first thing that reporters and the power, I mean, you're going to go right to the source and ask them, hey, is this true? And the fact that they're not responding gives some, it makes some credence to what he's saying that it possibly is true because they're not immediately going, no, this is not out. This is just Conor being Conor. And they're not doing that.
First off, again, all of this is working under the assumption that he's not full of crap. All right. Because I got a tough time as somebody who's been around fighters and the fight game, though more boxing than MMA. If you have multiple stress fractures in your leg, multiple stress fractures, as Conor just said, you don't get cleared to fight. You don't. I have watched a boxer at a lower level, but I have watched a boxer be pulled from a card hours before his fight was supposed to happen. This happened at the Heavyweight Factory down in Dade County, Florida, if I recall correctly. This was a fight that I was calling play-by-play with Roy Jones Jr. for. I watched a guy get pulled from a card, pulled by the commission, because he had a hairline fracture in his elbow. Not even his predominant elbow, his off elbow. Wouldn't let him fight. If dude had multiple stress fractures in his leg, he's not allowed to get in the octagon. And the only way he is, and I will say, so let's say he is telling the truth for the sake of the argument. If he is telling the truth, and he really did, the only reason he gets into that octagon is because the UFC covered it up because they know that if they pulled that fight from the main event slot after being hyped as long as it was, not only is that a multi-million-dollar loss for that night, but it's probably for the future as well. And if that is the case, then the UFC is going to have some major questions they have to answer moving forward.
Put yourself in their position. If they did know, and for the reasons that you just said, do you take the risk and let him go? Because there's a good shot that doesn't happen, and that the fight goes on like it's supposed to, and nothing ever happens to his leg, and no one's the wiser. You make all the money, you keep all the hype. This was billed as one of the biggest fights in a long time.
Yeah.
And if you pull that, then you've got a problem because people are going to want their money back, or they're not going to make that buy, because a lot of people make that buy on that day. That's what we do. When we decide to do it, we do it on that day. So you're missing out on a lot of money. If you are Dana White and you knew that, would you take the risk and go ahead and let him fight anyway, knowing what happens otherwise?
If we're being 100% honest, the answer is I can't know how I would have handled that. I can't know. In an ideal world, right? If we're playing the ideal world game, which is what I usually do in hypotheticals, I think it's what we most do. What would you do if you got robbed on the street? I would I'd defend my. No, you wouldn't. I've seen a ton of badasses who don't. In an ideal world, no. You go, we cannot risk the long-term health of a fighter. Because here's the thing. A broken bone's a broken bone. You get it casted, you get it healed. But there are tons of potentially, not hugely prevalent, but potentially life-threatening complications. If Conor McGregor gets an infection in that leg, he could lose a leg. People have lost limbs because of a broken bone.
Agreed. And I'm not saying I think this way, But if you're put in a position, you're talking about long-term health. What if you have to consider the long-term health of one fighter or the long-term health of your entire business?
I mean, if you've built a business that is so reliant on Conor McGregor that if he goes down, your entire business model crashes, you built a bad business model.
Isn't it right now?
Which is a problem.
No, agreed.
Okay, we're on the same page.
But it's not their fault that no one has a mouth like Conor. No one has box office like Conor. I mean, Amanda Nunes should, but she doesn't. She doesn't have that draw, even though she
absolutely should.
Probably the baddest, although Shevchenko, I think, is right there with her.
And Tate's back too.
Yeah, so there are names, but not on the level of Conor McGregor. John Bones Jones can be, whether he should be or not. I mean, that's your opinion, but he can be. Daniel Cormier to a certain degree. Guys that can talk, guys that can back it up. They are the forefront. They are the business. And if everything is around this big fight and you're worried that this fight going down could hurt your business long term, you're probably going to take that risk. Whether you should or not, whether you and I would I mean, that doesn't matter. It comes down to, do you believe that they would do this? And I kind of believe that they would. I believe they take the risk.
I agree. I believe that they would. Whether they did or not is the question, but I believe they would. Texture says, I mean, isn't it possible Conor hid this because he didn't want to miss the opportunity to earn his cut of the fight? Yes, but let me phrase that. I was going to say yes, but doctors from the UFC will have their own medical crew that will do a top to bottom physical of the fighters as required by the Las Vegas Commission.
Right.
They are obligated to do it. Does it mean that they would have found what do you call hairline stress fractures? And it's like, doesn't mean they would have found them. And if that is the case, then fine. It's on Conor. But then I don't want to hear another word about how this was an ad. But you knew this was a risk and you stepped in there anyway. The point I'm making is this all comes back to him.
Well, what is the advantage for Conor by coming out and saying this? What if he wants out of his fight contracts? This is one way to get out of it.
Why would he want out, though? He's not going anywhere else. I mean, yeah, he could. He could get picked up by Bellator, I guess.
Or maybe
he's not getting the draw there.
If you know that you've only won one fight in the last 5
years,
and you know that there's a good shot you're not going to win another, and this leg break messed you up really bad, and you're not sure you'll ever do it again, why not sue the company on your way out and get the last penny that you can get out of the company before you go away?
But for what? Like, what's his case going to be? You let me fight when I told you that there were. I mean, if he told them he has shin splints and they still let him fight.
No, if he said that he had stress fractures and their doctors saw that he had stress fractures and they let him fight anyway,
that's a massive problem.
It is.
I agree, but it's still going to be on him a little bit. Still going to be on him. He made the decision. At the end of the day, he's the one that makes the decision to walk through that gate. Texter says, Rob, why do you hate McGregor so much, honestly? The honest answer is because he's a petulant child who has been irrelevant for a half a decade. And it's the same problem I have in a different way with Vince McMahon. Get the irrelevant people out of the way and and grow the next generation. There are good young MMA fighters that cannot progress because we keep letting Conor McGregor have main events. There's 10 guys at the next level that are ready to main event UFC and can't because we keep throwing the same old dudes out there. Now, I'm not mad at some of the other guys because they're not petulant children. But when McGregor's sitting on the ground telling Poirier, you and your wife, you're both going to get it in your sleep while holding a finger gun to his head, I'm out, dog. I'm out. Let's take a break. When we come back, Fanboy Friday. Lonzo White I talk video games, music, pop culture, whatever. If you got any thoughts for what you want us to discuss on Fanboy Friday, hit them up during the break on the text line at 71307. The Rob Brown Show rolls on after this. Melinda, hold the line. I'll get you coming out, too. Don't go anywhere, Melinda. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show.
Harley.
Harley Davidson of Greenville wants you to experience what the Harley Davidson life is all about. I have been riding for 14 years. No, not 14, 7. Although it feels like it. About 7 years now. And when I got the opportunity to move up here, the very first thing that I did was figure out how am I getting my bike there and where am I going to ride. And I have been riding since then. I have put, I want to say, something like 3,000 miles on my bike since I got here. I have taken it up to the Blue Ridge. I have taken it over to Charleston. I've ridden it back over to Georgia and through the country, all in between. We have some of the best riding in the upstate, and now is one of the best times to take advantage of that. And if you've never ridden before, first off, Harley's got you all set up from start to finish. You can go through their Rider Academy. Go through, get some of the best instruction from folks who have been riding for years to learn how to safely and properly operate your new Harley Davidson. Then, when you're ready to buy said Harley, Harley Davidson has it. What is it? It's the bike of your dreams. Whether it's a brand new 2021 Harley with the new features, the new paints, the new finishes, etc., or maybe you're looking for something pre-owned, they got you covered there as well. Harley Davidson has over 150 pre-owned motorcycles, so the bike of your dreams is waiting for you. Check them out. Go to see their beautiful showroom at 30 Chrome Drive, 30 Chrome Drive in Greenville, or check them out online at upstateharley.com. Upstateharley.com. It is Harley Davidson of Greenville.
Conor McGregor says that UFC officials knew that he had multiple stress fractures in his left leg prior to his fight with Dustin Poirier in UFC 264. But Peter lost a TKO, breaking his left leg in the final moments of the first round of that fight. UFC officials have not commented yet on McGregor's claim. Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady says that he played with a torn MCL all of last season. Though he did not appear on an NFL injury report during the season, the 43-year-old Brady did lead the Buccaneers to the Super Bowl title and a win with the Chiefs. Lightning Fast Sports Alerts. Download the Score app today. It's absolutely free and one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Mike Sun.
Okay, so you can't throw a football 90 yards like an NFL QB and get paid the big bucks. You need this 2 years less XCP and your radio locked on ESPN Upstate. And you can score $1,000 every hour with a $1,000 cash stash. Listen every hour from 7 a to 5 p.m. weekdays for the keyword. Then text it to 72881. Text and data supply of this national contest. You could be the winner of a big chunk of dough 11 times a day. Powered by BetQL. Let BetQL's proven data and analytics help you become a better bet. Download the BetQL app today.
Not joint pain, not getting relief from drugs, and trying to avoid surgery. So many
All right, Diddy is in on Tuesday. I will be at Clemson for that media day thing, but I will be calling in probably once an hour to do a live hit.
QC Kinetics is the leader in biologic therapies for treating pain, regenerative, restorative treatments to repair and restore.
And then on
encouraging your body to heal itself.
Wednesday,
Is in the right environment to heal the way that you were designed to. Your body will do the rest.
I think Wednesday I'll be in Charlotte for the ACC, what is it, media day kickoff thing. So, but the show will be normal that day. I'll just be on location. Is my understanding.
Get your life back. Get pain free. Call QC Kinetics.
Mute it for a second.
QC Kinetics 86444.
All right,
And I got
unmuted.
online and got pre-qualified instantly instead of all that.
You know those things impact your credit score.
Didn't impact my credit score, Dad. Now I'm going to a dealership for a test drive and to make the purchase.
Sounds too easy.
No, it's just easy. Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Is that just Wednesday or is that Wednesday and Thursday?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
This report is paid for by Business Roundtable. There's a bipartisan deal to invest in America's infrastructure, roads, bridges, water, the electric grid, broadband. To all members of Congress, support this bipartisan agreement. America, start your engines because we're ready.
Let me grab Melinda and then we'll start. Nope. We're rolling with
I was
it.
going to say, I'm not stopping it now.
Oh, she dropped anyway. She dropped anyway.
Oh, okay.
Fanboy Friday. This is a segment that me and Zoe were sitting in the office and went, what if we just did the thing that we do all the time for like 10 minutes on air for a day? And this is what we came up with. By the way, Linda, if you want to call us back, I am a terrible host. I apologize. I did not have my call log up. So Melinda, if you want to call back, I will put you straight onto the air without delay. If you want to give us a buzz back, 844-GSP-ESPN. But Fanboy Friday, we talk video games, pop culture, board games, movies, etc., etc. Lonzo, I have to acknowledge that I have been a bad fan this week. I still have not seen Black Widow. I have not yet watched the series finale of Loki. However, I did start Bad Batch on Disney Plus. I'm one episode through. Solid effort from the Star Wars
All
crew.
right, I just have to, this is not stalking or anything, but if you are a friend on Xbox, you can see what the other person is doing. And so I saw that you were on Disney yesterday.
I was.
And I'm like, okay, he's finally watching it. All right, we're going to be able to talk about it. Not that you'd be able to talk about it because of your rule, but we still would be able to talk about it in the office. And since you didn't mention it.
You want to know what happened yesterday? This is true. Scout's honor. I got on Disney Plus to watch Loki. And my Disney Plus app on my Xbox, every time I would select Loki, it would go, something's gone wrong. Please try again later. So I force close the app, open it back up, select Loki. Something's gone wrong. Please try again later. I did that, no exaggeration, probably 15, 16 times before I just got frustrated. I thought, well, let me try something else. See if something else works. So I scrolled down to Bad Batch, clicked open Bad Batch, like a dream. I'm like, all right, I'll watch one episode of this. Had no idea, first off, the episodes are like an hour long.
Not
it felt like it.
Not all of them.
Okay.
The first one
felt long.
The first one's extra long. I think the average time's about 38 minutes.
Okay. It felt like it was about an hour. It was good. It was worth it. It wasn't a problem to sit through it. But then I got done with that, scroll back out. I'm like, all right, now I'll finish up Loki. Click on Loki. We're sorry, something's gone wrong. And by this point, the Team USA soccer match was starting, so I was committed to that.
So what it comes down to is so many people are watching it or something. I don't know.
I don't know. It's weird because ordinarily there, if there's a server overload, it's the whole Disney platform. It's not like this particular show has its own server, unless that is what they're doing, in which case I don't know. But I did 100% intend to sit down and watch it yesterday and tried about 18 times, and it just would not play on the Disney app. So I now watched an episode of Bad Batch, which I very much enjoyed, and we'll be getting back into that as well. But here's the three things that I have to watch this weekend. Have to get these three in. Knowing that we have an NBA Finals game, we have a Gold Cup group match, which is very important. USA wins, we win the group. If we lose or draw, we come in second, and we'll likely draw Mexico in the semifinals, not the quarters, but the semis. I have to watch Loki season finale. I have to watch Black Widow, and I have to watch Space Jam 2. Rank those the order I have to watch them in, Lonzo. If I can't get to one of them, which one gets left off?
You said rank them in the order. I think you just put them in the order.
Is that the order?
Yeah.
Loki, Black Widow, Space Jam 2?
Yes.
That's
And I'm only saying because I haven't seen Space Jam 2. I plan on watching it tonight, though.
Keegan Keegan texted me this morning about it. Keegan texted and said that it's good. He said he ranked it, I think he said 7.5 out of 10. He said it's not the same, but here's one thing I did want to bring up.
Not supposed to be. And if you're going in looking for acting on the part of the basketball player, you're probably watching the wrong movie.
Michael wasn't the greatest actor in the first
Oh,
one.
he was. Go rewatch it. It was the acting not good.
Not great.
No.
So the Bill Murray was the best actor in that movie. Now, by the way, I have a Space Jam jersey.
Him and Larry
It's Bill
Bird.
Murray's.
Larry Bird was just
Spectacular.
Yeah.
5-star.
Oscar worthy.
2 thumbs up, would recommend. Here's the thing that I have to say, because I got on Twitter this morning when I was show prepping right before we came on air and was like, let me see what it dropped last night at midnight or whatever. Let me see what people are saying about it. And it's like, it seems overwhelmingly people are just very mad on it. But I've gotten to this conversation with a couple of people where I've told them, I think you have to remind yourself that this Space Jam was not written as a sequel for those of us that are in our mid-30s to mid-40s that loved Michael Jordan in the first Space Jam, right? This movie is not for us. This movie is for the kids that were the age that we were when the first Space Jam came out. They didn't make Space Jam 2 so that Rob Brown, the Michael Jordan fan / Space Jam lover from number 1, would go, what a great follow-up. They wrote this because the people my age, they have kids that are 5 and 6 and 7 years old now. I don't, but they do. They didn't make this for my generation to enjoy. They made this for my generation's children who grew up where LeBron is where Michael was for us. And they made this movie for those kids to have a independent Space Jam, not as a sequel. And I think a lot of people my age are expecting a Space Jam sequel. And so they're kind of stepping on it a little bit. And
No, see, that's not what it is. It's the same as Star Wars fans hating the prequels and because it was for you when you were a kid, you think it stays for you throughout your lifetime. And it does not, because these are geared towards what you just said, the next generation of children. And so if you go into that thinking that it's, I don't have that mentality. I'm going in, I want to see how good the animation is. From the trailers, it looks like it's excellent. How good the story is. And really the story is just how funny is it? And I'm also interested in my granddaughter who's going to turn 3 in just a couple weeks. Will it hold her attention? It's for older kids, but will it hold her attention? Because she knows some of the characters. So that's again, not going to be stellar acting. Never expected that. But is it decent? And I'm probably not going to compare the two. I think the latest technology where they're able to have live action interacting with animation is so cool. The technology is great. You had talked about watching Detective Pikachu and how that's integrated. It's the same sort of thing. I want to see how that works. I also want to see what they do with the humor. Do they go too adult? Do they gear it towards what the demo should be? There's just a lot of things to look at. I review movies, so I'm looking at it that way as reviewing a movie, but I hope I have a good time too. And I'm able to, in this case, put politics and things aside and just go in and hopefully have a good time.
So I would disagree with the Star Wars premise, right? Because this Space Jam is not connected to the old Space Jam. The prequels are literally prequels to the movies.
I just want to point out that the Looney Tunes were in the other Space Jam and they're in this one,
Correct.
which means it is connected.
In that it is in the Looney Tunes universe, but it is not like, I haven't seen it yet, so maybe I'm wrong here. And if you have seen it, I know Keegan and others have watched it already. My understanding is that it's not.
The only thing that they need for it to be made a connection is for LeBron to mention Michael.
Which I don't know if he does. I haven't watched it yet. But the point is, this is not a story that's the 3 Star Wars prequels were, hey, this is literally us setting the stage for the 3 movies that you loved as a kid. So the story, it's literally the same story.
By the way, I use that as an example about the anger and the angst that
those movies suck.
It's the same thing. It's the same sort of thing. They did not, because they were geared towards kids. And there are things in those movies that you absolutely love, whether you say you do or not. including Duel of Fates. You would have no Duel of Fates. You'd have no Darth Maul. There are a lot of things you would not have without the prequels. Now, if you want to say, and some people have done fan films where they put the three together and made them better, I mean, if you want to get rid of Jake Lloyd altogether, speaking of bad acting, I get that. But there are positive things in there. Without them, I mean, watching Yoda fight, you never got to see that. And you wouldn't get to see that if you didn't have those. It's just some things that I think people anger. It still comes back to, these are not my Star Wars films. So they're going to be, this is not my Space Jam. I remember when I was a kid. Do you remember what you felt as a kid? It's nearly impossible to remember that, to get into that feeling. The closest to doing that is working in radio all your life.
Texter says, a little disappointed, Rob. Never got my Warzone invite, dude. I haven't played. I think I played Warzone for like 2 hours on Monday, and that's been it. I've had other things going on and other games playing late at night, so I've really only played Warzone, I think, once since you. I know you are. I think it's Brett, right? You'll get your invite. I still got. In fact, it's saved on my phone to send it to you. I've only been on for like 2 hours this week. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, if you go into Space Jam, here's the other aspect of Space Jam why I think it might fail. So, the people who hate LeBron could give a genuinely great movie to those people, and they would just hate the movie because it's LeBron.
Well, LeBron hasn't helped himself lately.
I agree with you. But
he should have taken, in my opinion, the Michael Jordan approach.
Republicans buy sneakers too.
And they buy movie tickets.
True, they do. Now, he decided principle over profit.
You can go that way if you want.
His principle. I didn't say you have to agree with the principle, but his principle over profit.
All right. Because of all that stuff, I have a little bit of a reluctance. Yeah, it's kind of funny that the trailer's playing right now as we're talking.
Literally.
I have a little reluctance to watch it, except for I was looking forward to this, and I want to see what they do. And I want to see if LeBron's acting chops have improved, because he's been in a few movies and he hasn't been that bad, really.
Look, I didn't like the movie, but that movie he did with Amy Schumer, he was pretty funny in it. Like, as far as athlete actors go, he was pretty funny in it. Trainwreck.
I've seen excerpts, but I haven't seen, and the excerpts I saw were with him.
Yeah, he was actually pretty funny in that movie, to tell you the truth. I did. The movie wasn't good, but he was actually pretty damn funny in it. So yeah, I'm giving it a shot, man. I'm absolutely giving it a shot. I got Loki, I got Black Widow, and I got Space Jam all to get down before we reconvene on Monday. Lonzo says Loki first, Black Widow second, Space Jam third.
All right, how many of you believe he's going to watch any of these?
Damn, dog, you just come out. Okay, all right.
You are busy, and
Sunday fun day. This Sunday, nothing. It's just movies and TV shows all day.
If you like, Sunday, when I get a moment, I will just barrage you with texts and ask you if you've watched something yet. I'm willing.
You're gonna guilt me into watching.
I'm willing to do that. I absolutely am.
All right. So those are the three things I'll have here. I'll say this. I'll have 2 of the 3 watched by Monday. Give myself some flexibility there.
All right. One of these 3, after you watch it, I expect to get a text.
Black Widow.
And I'm going to be, I expect to get a text. We'll see.
Black Widow. That's the one you're looking for.
I am not saying, but
okay.
One of these 3, I can't spoil, but I'm going to get a text from you.
Like a holy bleep.
I see, if I say you're going to be angry, or you're going to be happy, or you're going to be surprised, I'm not going to do any of that.
I didn't say, listen, holy bleep is very utilitarian. It could go for any of those emotions. We'll see. I mean, I'm not going to text that to Lonzo. I respect him too much. Plus, he would dump button my text.
I can do that.
Quick break. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show. It's ESPN Upstate.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Jeff Passan and Enrique Rojas report the Yankees and Red Sox are expected to play tonight in the Bronx. All 6 of the Yankees players who tested positive for COVID-19 will go on the injured list and are out 6 games of the season, violating the league policy on PEDs. ESPN's Andrew Wojnarowski reports Nuggets center JaVale McGee and Spurs forward Keldon Johnson will take the 2 open roster spots on Team USA.
Be your own hotspot with Straight Talk's Ultimate Unlimited plan. Get 10 gigs of hotspot data for just $55 a month.
Right back, stream. I have to take a tinkle.
Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Compatible device required. See straighttalk.com. From the Ingles Market Studio, this is ESPN Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg. ESPN Upstate.
An Odyssey station. In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Fisher is different? How? Don't you just ride the wave?
No, we actively manage client portfolios based on our forward-looking views of the market. In times like these, we understand that clients want proactive communication and guidance.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we get to know our clients so we can tailor their portfolios to their specific goals and needs. We even offer resources on Social Security, Medicare, tax efficiency, and more. Our primary goal is to help them achieve a comfortable retirement.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions, right?
No, we don't sell commission products. Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, the highest standard for a financial advisor. It means we're there for our clients and always put their interests first.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, our fees are transparent, structured so we do better when our clients do better. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you are switching to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
For the ones standing guard, for the eagle-eyed, for the knights in shining armor, and for all those who support them. We are Granger.
You say, it has to have one more segment, but you know.
Offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call clickgranger.com/safety or just stop by. Granger.
Did you break my basketball?
Slowly losing air.
Well, it is, you know, made for children. Can you even pump that ball up? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it's got a nipple in it.
All these streams, and I think that's the first time the word nipple has been said on the air.
And just a reminder, I can't remind you if I'm going to be in Word.
Or Twitter.
You wanted me to remind, well, yeah, but you wanted me to remind you when we got in the office, but I won't be in the office. Because no one has stinking availability.
So you get 2% cash back on brackets, 2% cash back on cash back on gear.
I don't think the camera focuses over there, so you can just claim you've made them all, but then I'll have to call you a liar.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
All right, that
was straight up ad.
Diesel missed the entire.
Do you guys think Mark Ryan could slam on that rim?
Darkest tennis ball, you know.
These 3. Diesel's in here taking trick shots on the stream on Facebook.com/ESPN Upstate. And I think 0 for 9 during that break. 1 for 10.
1 for 4.
1 for 4, he claims. I believe I heard a lot more bouncing than Diesel also. Well, I'm just going to tell Diesel that somebody made a Meet the Fockers quote on the stream about your anatomical reference to the basketball, and I'll leave it at that. Let me.
Did it have something to do with cats?
It did. It did. Can you milk me, Greg? 844-477-3776.
Wait, that actually works too. If you said that.
Clip number. Where did it go? Clip number. Of course, I lost it. Oh, clip number 7, if you don't mind, Lonzo. The New York Yankees have multiple players out. They will be playing the Red Sox tonight. They had a game last night. It was postponed due to 6 players getting COVID-19. Here's Brian Cashman, the GM, on that.
it's a fluid situation that could spread and has spread to some degree. We have 3 positives, and we have 3 pending that we've had rapid tests on, and until the lab-based tests come back, the rapid tests have come back positive, and so on multiple occasions now, and so therefore we'll wait now for the lab tests to come back, which I'm assuming is going to be positive as well. So that would increase our number to 6, but we're not at 6 yet. We're at 3 confirmed. We certainly will reevaluate everything we have done, and if there's anything we can be better at as we move forward, those are fair questions to ask. I don't have an answer for that right now. I know that we rely on a lot of guidance from medical experts and try to implement to the best of our abilities. And as you know, we have a population of personnel that most are vaccinated. Some have chosen not to get vaccinated. They have their reasons for that, and we're certainly trying to create. Major League Baseball is, as well as the New York Yankees, a safe environment to come work and travel in, and we'll constantly be, reevaluating that, whenever necessary, for the benefit of our personnel. I know that ultimately the decision is for protection and health of all employees, but I don't want to speak for the commissioner what led to the final official decision for him to cancel the competition tonight between Boston and New York. And but he took all aspects involved, and until I'm sure from his perspective in his chair, until this very fluid situation kind of declares itself, and we all really know what we're dealing with. I think better safe than sorry, and that's probably what went into his decision making process. But I cannot speak for him, and I am not speaking for him by sharing those thoughts.
So that's Brian Cashman, GM of the Yankees, saying that they had initially 3. I believe the other 3 have come back as positive. All of those players will go on to the injured list until they are able to get out, meet the protocols, and be available again. The point of all of this, look, it's nothing more than we're not done, y'all. We're not done. It sucks, but I'm going to say sports isn't done with this. It's not. We got players now that are missing the Olympics. We got athletes who have to make decisions. There's a swimmer for the Olympic team who said that he is not going to get vaccinated. He's not getting vaccinated before the game. Said he'll do it afterwards, but basically said we have every single minute of our lives regimented down until the second that we hit the pool for an actual Olympic race in Tokyo. And I didn't want to risk having a side effect cut 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12 days out of my training for the Olympics if I was to experience the side effects, which some people do. And that makes sense to me. I am a huge proponent of people getting vaccinated, but that also makes sense to me. This is a lifelong thing, but the risk is also there that you will get Bradley Beal out of the Olympics. It sucks, but we're not done. Quick break. We'll wrap it up with Twitter trending topics when we come back. Rob, Lonzo, and you. This is ESPN Upstate. Are you out for Twitter? That's right. You told me that earlier. Have fun, buddy.
Radio.com is now Odyssey. Download the Odyssey app and listen to ESPN Upstate and all the sports, news, music, and podcasts. You make sure you and your people do everything possible to see that it is all in one place.
In my defense, I had to block off.
That's how basketball works, Diesel.
I was here, and I had a sliver of the trash can.
That's all right. I missed it with a aluminum can yesterday on the air, and it's like,
Clank, 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 clank,
yeah.
clank.
Like, why did I decide that was to, like, why didn't I just wait?
Shane.
Oh, look at you with your cute little Starbucks cup. I know it's not Starbucks, but
It's a Dixie cup.
pick me up. It's Diesel's pick me up.
Is that what it says?
Yes, it's I'm
That is what it says.
Being made right now.
Zoe hates this commercial. Like, we'll turn the audio in the booth off
I used to-
for that commercial.
I hated doing production with Bluebell commercials because you'd have to tag like 15 of them, like once a month. Yeah, available at Ingles and Bilo, available at Bilo and Food Lion, available at Food Lion and Circle K. Available, and then sometimes they'd want them just reversed. Available at Circle K and Food Lion.
32-year-old William Bubba Hodge was arrested and charged for possession and injury of an alligator, burglary, theft, and criminal mischief Friday morning.
That was almost the best thing we heard today.
Take a guess at the state.
Florida.
Of course, it's Florida.
Yeah, that was all. I saw
Florida
that.
man tries to throw live alligator onto a beachside roof.
Did you hear our best thing yesterday where a woman got stuck upside down and naked between two buildings in California?
I mean, who amongst us hasn't that happened to?
Right?
Got stuck.
They don't know how
and naked.
As of press time, they didn't know how she got stuck there.
She ain't about to tell you
that
either.
she was stuck. Right, exactly. I was like, is this some like Tyrone Wiggums Chappelle show stuff where he thought he could take his clothes off and suddenly get skinny enough to reach in there and grab a crack rock? I smoke rocks.
I smoke crack, Joe Rogan.
Did you ever suck dick for weed? No.
The stream is still on, Diesel.
Oh, oops. I didn't know. No, it's not. Crap.
That's all right. It's a stream.
So they had us making promos for a while for the streamer.
Yeah.
And like half of my promos involved some guy taking a leak into a stream in the woods. And they said, you can't put these online. I was like, why not? It's hilarious. Babbling Brooks, beautiful meadows. Is that a fat guy in plaid peeing in the river? Welcome to our stream.
Our literal stream.
They wouldn't let me do it. No senses of humor around here.
Authoritarianism.
I know.
Is it next weekend?
Ramble on.
Next weekend, Saturday or Sunday, you want to play around the golf?
Yeah.
Okay. Kevin and I are gonna either Saturday or Sunday use a golf cart day.
Sweet. Trending. Do you have a set? Do you want to call for the cash contest bed, or do I just play it
with 1 minute left? Play
Okay.
it. Well, with I guess right at 59.
Got it.
You can
Okay.
throw it up.
Here's what's happening on the internet. God, this feels like just sliding an old pair of jeans, doesn't it? Here's what's happening on the internet.
Not get into my jeans, Diesel.
Let's see what Rob Brown knows about it. Oh God, this looks like such a turd. Space Jam: A New Legacy.
Why does it look like a turd?
Because have you seen the previews?
Looney
It looks
Tunes movie.
bad.
It's a Looney Tunes movie.
It looks bad.
Are you expecting an Oscar to be handed out for a Looney Tunes movie? Because your expectations might be just a touch high. So we talked about this.
Where's Bill Murray? That's what I want to know.
In fairness, I do own a Space Jam jersey.
I know. I've seen it
And when I
online
grabbed
in the
it-
last couple of days.
When I grabbed it, I grabbed the Bill Murray jersey. The dude's the best. All right, he's the best.
Mm-hmm.
I think people like you, Diesel, need to recognize that this movie is not for us that got the original Space Jam.
Also true.
Because people, some people our age, Diesel, have decided to have kids. And those kids are now the age that we were when the first Space Jam dropped. And this movie is for them, not us.
I swear to God, if they come out with a Fern Gully Part 2 and they ruin it.
It's called Avatar.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the same damn movie. Tell me it's not. Tell me it's not the same movie.
It is. It is.
It's the same story. Exactly. They just replaced the big creepy smoke monster with the military.
Yeah.
And tiny little pixies with giant blue cat people. If Robin Williams was in Avatar, it would be the same movie.
All right. Your next Twitter trending topic is Brooks.
Oh, like Brooks Koepka.
Yeah,
Got it.
Brooks
10-4,
Koepka.
10-4. So yesterday, Bryson DeChambeau, after his round was over, said, the driver sucks. He said his driver sucked. Said it was all the driver's fault, which in fairness, Diesel, I understand that. I actually shoot 76, except for I shoot 97 with the clubs that I own.
Do you want your driver? No, he's not my type.
Yes. So Brooks Koepka.
Wow, you didn't stop to pour one out for Rodney Dangerfield on that joke?
We're waiting. So Brooks Koepka gets done with his round, in which he had a pretty decent round today. And they said, how'd you feel about it? And he said, man, I was driving the ball really well. I love my driver. Just the troll job between these two guys back and forth is the best thing golf has had going since Tiger in his prime.
Next up, John Mulaney is trending.
I love John Mulaney. That dude does not get enough credit.
The internet hated him really hard for a minute, though.
I think because he disappeared for a while, right?
No, it's because he divorced his wife and then was like immediately dating Olivia Munn, which I think it's just pure jealousy. Like, who doesn't want to date Olivia Munn? She's amazing.
She is amazing.
She's amazing. But
I
people questioned the timing. They were like, "How
is that why
do you
he's
get into a
trending right now?
series?" No, he's trending because he booked some comedy dates. Some
I
stand-up
got
dates.
you. Okay, I got you.
Street smarts.
I love John Mulaney.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Sheryl Crow took Lance Armstrong away from his old wife, and everybody's like, Sheryl Crow's amazing. I don't know. We just can we be on an even playing field here? Plus, 95% of you would keel over backwards to shake hands with Olivia Munn.
Yeah.
All right. It just is what it is.
Last topic is Casino Royale.
Like the James Bond movie? Why is that trending?
It's trending because people are weighing in on their top 3 Bond films.
And that's, I got to tell you, Casino Royale is towards the top for me.
It's good. It's all the Daniel Craigs are really good.
Really
you
good.
You can't. There's not a bad one in the bunch.
And if you read the James Bond books growing up, he is the most true to the book James Bond. Like James Bond in the books, yeah, he was a little suave, but he wasn't like Pierce Brosnan suave.
Right.
Women are dropping their dresses when he walks in the door. He was kind of brutal, which is kind of why I love this guy. Here's your chance to win $1,000 in the $1,000 cash dash on ESPN X Day. Text microphone, MICROPHONE, microphone to 72881 for your chance to win $1,000 in the $1,000 cash dash on ESPN Upstate. That's it for me, for Lonzo, for Diesel. I'm Rob Brown. We'll see you back here on Monday to do it all over again. Have a great weekend. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. See you Monday back here on ESPN Upstate. Later.